Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need OG keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room, room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lawyer, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't be labeled like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room, room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones are down and I dare the shows. The way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shooting this brace, I'm going in a new gear, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Ayy, just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone.
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 or 4:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome in, Mafia. Bitcoin finally coming up and hitting the $119,000 to $120,000 target. Now, guys, we are pushing up against the macro 786, which is, in my opinion, the doorway to new all-time highs. So as Bitcoin tests this major key level of resistance, guys, what are the chances that we see new all-time highs coming in here? What does the money flow say? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Well, as always, I'm going to give you the bullish case and the bearish case, and I'll let you guys know which way I'm leaning. Because as we've been looking at the charts, guys, high time frame money flow has been a little bit sketchy, to be quite honest. But then we have tons of other time frames looking really good. We're approaching new all-time highs. And as we test this key level of resistance, it is 100% time to start paying attention. So I'm going to cover everything with you guys. We'll cover the key levels. Oh, no. Why are we frozen? I was just frozen for a second. But not only do we have the key target being hit on Bitcoin, guys, but we also have Ethereum coming into the target that we looked at yesterday. Solana coming into the target that we were looking at yesterday. So we're going to take a look at the altcoins as well. But shout out to the Mafia. Welcome in. Now, let's see what we got in here today. We got Blair. What is going on? Welcome in, Blair. We got Parnov in the chat. All set. JP. JP says Chainlink to $100 when? Well, maybe we'll take a look at Chainlink in a second. We got K Diggity in the chat said, I don't even own any Bitcoin. I'm just here for Phoebe. Shout out to K Diggity. Phoebe says, hi. What is going on, K Diggity? Welcome in, bro. Don't forget to smash those like buttons, guys. If you appreciate the free content and the early streams, smash up that like button so we know you guys enjoy those early streams when we get these pumps. Let's see. I hope when I grow up, I want to buy a DeLorean so I can go back in time and be like Frankie when I grow up. Shout out to I'm My Hero. You are like me, bro. If you're a goofy guy, you're like Frankie Candles. We got Dave Digital in the chat said, who's this guy? Winter Candles with the hoodie on. Funny enough, it's actually not that cold out today. It is pretty cold in the studio, though. Shout out to Dave Digital. Welcome in. But yeah, guys, we got a lot to look at here on the charts. We're going to talk about the key targets, key levels, and what I'm expecting next here on Bitcoin. Smash that like button. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Let's see. Shout out to Mike. Mike K says, Frankie is the chart GOAT. Hey, shout out to Mike K. I appreciate you, bro. Yo, watching from the gym. Shout out to Connor. Let's go, bro. That is dedication. Push. Come on, one more, Connor. Come on, one more. Come on, push it. Up. You got it. Nice job. Anyway, shout out to Connor. A little motivation for the gym. But all right, guys, so here we are. Now, yesterday, if you watched the live stream, you will know, guys, well, I'll actually bring you back a little bit in time here. Obviously, for anybody who has not been tuned in, who has not been paying attention until Bitcoin got the pump, just to kind of break it down here, guys, we are bouncing from the 786 Fibonacci retracement, pulled from this low to the high. Obviously, a major key level to hold. And breaking this level was going to indicate that we were probably going to break down below $107,000. Now, this is very important because we knew as long as we held above $100,000, well, that keeps the doorway open to new all-time highs. Now, I do want to caution everybody just a little bit here. Now, obviously, this is not the place to be looking for long positions, right? The only thing I can potentially look for here is going to be short positions. But just to, tame the FOMO, guys. Obviously, you've missed most of the move up if you are looking for longs up here, so just be careful. I'm not saying you can't continue up, but you're going to need some kind of a retracement to look for a new long position, and I'll cover some of those key levels as well. But obviously, guys, we are pulling off of this 786 Fibonacci retracement, super key level of support, because we knew that we had to hold above 107K to potentially keep the all-time high doors open. And there are some things that look pretty good here on the charts for a potential continuation up, but you're not going to get us, Bitcoin. You're not going to trap us. If we see that trap, we're going to at least attempt to take a shot here and catch it to the downside. But I'll give you guys my overall bias here in just a second. And I think if you watch the channel, you'll know as long as we held above 107K, I was longer term bullish on Bitcoin. Ever since we got the initial breakout of our larger range here, coming down and retesting this structure was not a big deal, even if we had to come and test it again. Very nice that we didn't have to. But, just coming down here for these retests of the structure before potentially keeping that doorway open to all-time highs. And we are still above 107K, so that doorway is open. But there are some things I do want to be cautious of up here. We do have the high time frame money flow coming out. We got Mrs. Candle's hand coming in. Why don't you bring it in on camera, Mrs. Candles? Bring it up a little bit and hand it. Look at this, guys. Mrs. Candle's coming in. Okay, she came in with a nice cup of black coffee. There we go. There it is. Look at it. It's steaming and everything. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. I appreciate you. Ow, it's hot. Why would you not say that? Shout out to Mrs. Candles. I'm just breaking your chops. She's making fun of the way I'm sitting. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. She's crazy. But anyway, guys, as we live above $107,000, do you see Bitcoin today, Mrs. Candles? She doesn't care. Oh man, Mrs. Candles, look at it go. Look at it flying up there, Mrs. Candles. What do you think about that? Yeah, it's not as high as the other one was, but maybe we're on our way up there. What do you think? You think we're going into all-time highs, or you think we're getting a lower high before we're cracking 107K? Give us the answer, Mrs. Candles. You're always right. I don't know how you're always right, but you are. What do you think? All-time highs, or are we breaking down? Oh, God. Let me sniff the hand then. Mrs. Candles said we're going down. Let me sniff the hand. Give me the hand. I'll do a little sniff. All right, now get it out of here. Hurry. Go. Anyway, there's some Mrs. Candle's hands in the chat. But guys, obviously staying above 107K was a very good sign. We broke back into our volume profile here, snapping and flipping our value area low to support before looking for the full fill of this volume profile, which actually was pretty nice, right? Obviously, we always do anticipate these volume profiles to give us some kind of resistance at the POC, maybe bing bong around a little bit, but this has been a very, very clean rotation of the volume profile. This was the level that we were looking back here on Monday, saying, you know, hey, this is the key level we want to remain above because, of course, flipping that value area low would be bullish in order to look for not all-time highs, but the POC and potentially the value area high of the range. Maybe eventually all-time highs. But we also had our 4-hour money flow crossing into the green, which is another kind of level of confluence that we had up here, looking for not only the flip and the rotation, but the money flow was also pointing towards this direction as well, which was pretty nice to identify because obviously we have our high time frame money flow on time frames like the 2-day, which is starting to try and creep up here, but still generally trending down. We have the 4-day money flow also continuously trending down, which is definitely a little bit suspicious. But then, of course, we look at the 3-day. 3-day looks nice and healthy. The 6-day looks kind of flat. The weekly looks pretty good, right? So it's like you have those mixed signals on the higher time frames, which is why I've pretty much, right, medium time frame was able to help us identify the continuation of the overall trend here based off the 4-hour, which was making us look obviously up towards our 115,000. I think it was 115,600. Yeah, we had this local level just kind of through the week. Flipped this to support. Next key level of resistance was sitting right here. We got absolutely no reaction here, so no short positions. I was interested here, but did not take any shorts there. And we came up to the POC. We pushed up. And last night, shout out to anybody who was in the live stream last night. I'm going to go ahead and hide these MPOCs. Next target to the upside was obviously the POC, but not just the POC, guys. Looking for the crack of structure to the upside. Now, why was I looking for that crack of structure? Well, it had to do with the money flow crossing into the green and the fact that we had the low here, the high here, and that higher low holding the 786 Fibonacci retracement. If you guys watched the earlier streams, you will know because of this, we were looking for not only a push into the POC, but also that break of structure, which we have now gotten very comfortably. And then the next level above that point of control that we were looking at yesterday was very clearly get above the POC. We're looking between $119,000 and $120,000. And beyond that, we had the 786 sitting here. I mentioned this, I mentioned it a lot in the past, but like yesterday, I just kept saying 120,800, guys. This is really I wouldn't even say it's like the strongest level, but it is a very important level of resistance because this potentially could be the last door, right, to get above and flip to support in order to anticipate all-time highs. Now, yes, we do have this daily MPOC here. This could be a place we get a rejection as well. I will be paying attention to this level on the way up. But we are just getting above. I mean, we're above the the daily and weekly MPOC. We're above the golden pocket. We're above the POC. So, you know, we are at resistance. I would not be surprised if you get some cool-offs here. But to be quite honest, guys, when we look at money flow and the overall anticipation of the continuation of our trend here, this money flow looks pretty healthy on the 4 hours. So even if we do get pullbacks, right, like we could potentially put in those higher lows and higher highs. You know, again, I know the higher time frame looks somewhat nasty, but it's not all the higher time frames, right? So it's like it's kind of hard to make a call off of this, right? Like the 3-day actually looks pretty dang good, right? Like the 3-day has come out. We're now back in a bigger green wave. This is generally trending up. This is very nice to see, but we just can't write off that 2-day and the 4-day, right? Like this is going to take a lot more time to roll over, or I should say curl up. But we just have mixed signals on market Cypher B, and that's why we're paying attention to these key levels. And we are there, guys. We are knocking on the door here to potentially new all-time highs. The last place to get the rejection from, in my opinion, like a nice clean rejection would be from the 786. But technically, I forgot who it was. One of our fellow CandleMafia members, actually a few different times, I had gotten people asking me if I ever look at the 886. And I don't typically look at the 886. It was actually ADD Dad mentioned the 886, and we pulled it up, and we actually, I think we were bouncing off of, I don't know if it was this low or this low. We were bouncing off an 886, and I was like, you know, maybe I should start looking at this. And just to mention this, right, if we pull up the 886 here, it is also very confluent with that daily MPOC, which is some nice confluence here because, you know, usually I like to look between the golden pocket and the 786 for a potential high, low, lower high, lower low on the long term. But technically, that 886 can sometimes save you. Again, not something I typically pay attention to. You know, so I'm just kind of looking at this as an MPOC. But at the end of the day, right, like, I guess you could argue that you could still technically put in the lower high here. But I'm just going to say this. With the way money flow looks, with the strength that we've seen here, I am open to new all-time highs. And, of course, we never broke down below 107K, which is very, very nice. But I do just kind of want to point out those key levels of resistance, right? Whether you're looking at the 886 or you're just looking at the daily MPLC, like this is really that last level of confluence that I would be looking at, right? Break above the value area high, and I will actually just move this purple box so we can mark this out. Value area high was sitting at $120,000 for that full fill, and we just have to be careful. We have to analyze kind of what's going on up here, right? Because you could kind of bing bong around up here, and if we start getting those bearish confirmations, right, it might be worth a little scalp short into the value area high, and then if price decides to kind of roll over and break back down into the range and we get the bigger dump, well, we can hold that position. So we're definitely in the, I don't want to say danger zone, but we're in the zone where you really want to start paying attention, guys. Again, when we look at Market Cipher B here, not from a money flow perspective, but just from an overall kind of momentum wave perspective, you do have some kind of bearish divergences here. I don't know. I mean, they're not the cleanest, right? They're pretty aggressive here. You do have the lower highs potentially looking to form here on the 90-minute. 4-hour bearish divergence technically printing here. Again, this is a very steep, aggressive incline. Not really the cleanest bearish divergence in my own personal opinion, but as always, right, even a 4-hour red dot could give us a little pullback here, and we are at resistance. So we are currently respecting that level. But I'd be okay with a little bit of turbulence, and I will be looking based off the 4-hour money flow, right? If this continues into the green, we can continue to look for higher lows and higher highs. And I'll talk about those key levels that I'm looking at in just a minute. I am not holding any short positions. I actually did get stopped out of a short position earlier today. No, I do not win all my trades. I did get stopped out, letting the premium Discord know that. I took a shot, got stopped out. No big deal, because I am holding that horrible, degenerate, not responsible long position that I should have been liquidated on, guys. Again, I don't want to really push the, I don't want to pull this trade up too much just because, again, from a responsible trading aspect, right, or context, I should have been liquidated on this trade. The only reason I'm still in this is because of luck. But anyway, this is kind of the, part of the reason why I was willing to take a stab at that short. If I was not holding this long position, I would have not been as open to taking the short position, but I am pretty obviously well hedged here on the long position. But again, I don't want to promote this as a good trade, right? Because the idea here was that I was going to get stopped out at break even, or I thought I was going to get stopped out at break even. But turns out I didn't have a stop loss set, and I missed my liquidation by literally like $200. My stop loss, my liquidation level was literally at 108. Right here, 108, like 250. Literally saved by the skin of my teeth. Luckiest person in the world. But hey, can't complain. But I am also, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm kind of tempted to just especially with that long open, right? I had a really tight stop loss on that short, so very, very small loss either way. But I am tempted, guys, as we sit at this key level of resistance, again, waiting for this level for quite some time, not only based off money flow, but also the value area and the Fibonacci levels. I mean, this is definitely resistance. Now, I would be okay with pullbacks. Let's talk about some of the local support that we have down below. But first, let's come in and check out on chat. How are we feeling in chat, guys? You think we're going to all-time highs? You think it's all a bull trap? Is it all going to zero? Let me know what you think in the chat. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Knight. Said, honestly, this is one of the first times where I intentionally buy the tops. LOL. Michael Saylor, that ish. Shout out to Crypto Knight. As far as leveraged positions, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to start to get those questions, right? Especially if we start coming into new all-time highs. I'm going to start to get those text messages. Oh, my God, I see Bitcoin's pumping. Should I buy? Should I buy? But again, I'm not saying you can't buy here and continue up. But as always, right, this is, you're buying Bitcoin pretty much almost as expensive as it's ever been, right? So you just have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Doesn't mean you can't continue up, but just be aware. I'm in it for all-time highs. Shout out to Satoshi Stacker. Is there liquidity above? Any reason to go higher? Shout out to Cabby. We did have liquidity sitting right here, right? And we talked about this last night. I was about to end the live stream, literally right here. And shout out to anybody who stuck around till the end of the stream last night, because we were sitting right here last night, 7:30, where I was ending the live stream. And as I'm doing the outro, right, the price starts creeping up. We pulled back up the 1-second chart, and I was about to be hey guys, watch 119 to 120K, and literally started pumping. So I kept going live. We covered that 1-second chart. It was pretty funny, but obviously understanding we did have liquidity sitting above between about 119 to 120K, and you could see somewhat of an aggressive move up there, not just an instant Lambo candle, but so we did take out a lot of that liquidity. That we could take a look at the heat maps in just a second. Let me see here. Let me load this up real quick. At the end of the day, right, I would say the biggest level of liquidity was sitting up here. We have been watching that forever. It has now been taken out, right, which could make sense for a little bit of a pullback. Let me see. Yeah, and I could pull up the heat map here just so you guys can take a look at it. You can see here, right? Why won't it let me drag it all the way? Hang on one sec here, guys. Let me just reload this. I don't know why it won't show me the full candles. This happened to me yesterday. Come on, baby. All right, there we go. All right, there we are. So we obviously had this liquidity sitting above, starting at about, really the hot spot was sitting at about 119K, all the way up to about, where we are right now. You could see that hot spot of liquidity. I can even highlight it a little more for you, sitting all up here. And we have now flushed out all that liquidity. We got a little bit up here, just above the all-time high, which makes sense because that's our previous high. But, this is a lot of liquidity here, guys, and we have now swept that out. So we've come into resistance. We've swept liquidity. But I do think it's a little bit dangerous, as tempted as I am to try to short at this 786. It is a little bit dicey, right? This is like extreme strength here. Like Bitcoin is barely taking the lows. Like right here, we didn't even really take the lows of this range. It's just kind of been in one of those situations that we bring up every time we get an aggressive move. Bitcoin just kind of likes to keep going, right? Where was I believe it was, like even down here, right? A very similar situation. This was back in the day, right? You start to get that aggressive move up, and like Bitcoin just does not want to take those lows. Like barely misses the lows, doesn't take the low, just continues up, right? Takes the low there, right? And they just kind of aggressively continue that uptrend. So I would just say, like, be careful. I would say, like, the risk to reward up here, if you're looking at the 786 as your invalidation, is not that bad, right? I'm not telling you to take a trade or anything like that. Like I said, I'm not holding a short. I've already gotten stopped out of one short, and I don't want to get stuck in here just trying to short this strength consistently and get stopped out 100 times, even though you could do that with a decently tight stop loss and still be okay. You do want to make, like, informed, logical decisions. You don't just want to just keep shorting strength. But, key level, slight bearish divergences. Again, they're not the prettiest. But again, looking at that daily MPOC that we have up here, when I entered the short position earlier today, I was even saying to the Discord, like, guys, tight stop on this. I don't mind it because it's such a tight stop. And I am suspicious of coming up and taking it out that 786. And sure enough, a few minutes later, right, stopped out of the short, tapping that 786. But again, small loss, especially with the long that I have running, which I'm not proud of, but it is there. But yeah, this is the level, guys. And don't forget, we do have the volume profile, right? So talking about the key local levels of support down below, I would say personally, right, if we are able, like just a simple volume profile kind of thought process, right? Value area high, value area low, POC, right? We could potentially hang out up here a little bit. Maybe we kind of come above. We kind of have to like let price action develop up here. If we start creating a range, we can start looking at that for new setups, potentially looking for shorts at the daily MPOC and potentially above that value area high if we do form it. But that would be looked at, right? Based off our money flow coming up pretty aggressively, even here on the 1 hour. Look at that money flow, thick boy in the green there, guys. This is not usually strength that you want to fade. But if we get a situation like this where we can get some kind of like a smaller range forming up here, even if it's like a tiny little range like this, I will just be looking within that profile to short from the high, back down to the low, locking in profits, because I would know if we have a range here, that value area low is very likely going to be on the previous value area high. Definitely a key level of support to lock in some profits and move my stop loss to break even. But then once we start losing this value area high, we could potentially look for bigger pullbacks into the POC, which sits right now at about 117,738. So that's kind of like, I would say, the big level to watch right now to the downside. And it doesn't mean that we're going to zero if we break down below this, but I would just expect to potentially get a push back down towards that POC. But if we're able to put in a potential higher low there with our money flow continuing to the upside, right, my bias here is being very careful with the shorts, right? Like kind of any time that we short all-time highs. When we shorted the all-time high here in the premium Discord, I did not take this short and just say, hey, we are going to whatever it was, $107,000. That was not the initial thought process, right? It's a very dangerous way to trade. It's not like I short up here. I'm like, that's it. That's the top before 107K. We knew that we could potentially target down there eventually, but on the way down there, guys, we are being very careful around this value area high, and then we break down into the value area high. We're careful around the POC, and then once we lose that, we expect to come down to the value area low, and then we could take multiple take profits, move our stop loss, and then if it decides to continue down, we can continue to capitalize on that move, right, with our stop loss safely in or at break even, or maybe even in profit at that point. So it's going to be kind of the same thing, right? Like if I did catch, for example, if I caught a short up here, I'm definitely going to look at that as a scalp down to the value area high, especially in this aggressive move to the upside, right? You might just get like a little pull and then another push to the upside. But I would have to be, treating these with a lot of care, right? And like maybe a scalp down to the value area high. And then if things start to look a little better, we get like maybe a market cipher B1/16 strategy, bearish setup, something like that. We lose the value area high. We can look to hold it to the POC, also being very careful here. And then, we'll reanalyze what the money flow looks like, what the continuation continuation is likely going to be. If it looks like it's coming down, we'll continue to hold that short for maybe lower prices, right? And when we look at the overall Fibonacci retracement, right, we pull this up every single day because it's very important, right? People are probably like, why does this guy keep pulling the same fib? And it's because it's important, right? It's because although it takes a long time to get up there, right? We were looking at this level. The golden pocket is what we originally rejected off of. We also shorted there, right? We shorted the top here. We longed the bottom here. We shorted the top here. Had a setup at the long from down here. I personally was waiting for another low to be made, so I didn't take that position. But as you know, I held that position by accident without a stop loss. And so I am still when you see that long position, guys, that was not a planned long position, just to be clear. But at the end of the day, we did have a setup down there. But I did not personally take that setup because I was waiting for another low to be formed. Obviously, we didn't do that, so I did not take that trade. But we're all looking for this to come back up. You know, we already rejected the golden pocket, and one of the reasons I looked for not only the push into this PLC golden pocket, but the break of structure to the upside is because we already got the rejection from the golden pocket, right? We got the low to come in, we got the rejection at the golden pocket, but because we held this higher low, it opened up the door to potentially see a break of structure come into the upside here. And again, you've already rejected that golden pocket, so the chances of these kind of double tapping and, you know, getting the big lower high there for the second time is unlikely in my opinion, which is why I looked for that break of structure that I mentioned yesterday and the day before. Making that next target, right? Once you break above the golden pocket, where's the next place for price to likely go? It's going to be that 786 Fibonacci retracement. And if we're going to be looking overall, right, for a high, a low, a potential wonky lower high before another lower low, you could continue that downtrend here, and it could be a place to get a very, very big rejection. This is not my base case right now, right? But we do just have to be careful up here at resistance. And again, that daily MPOC sitting at 122,707 is kind of that honorable mention last level. But to be quite honest, guys, I mean, we keep this strength going. There's not much above us to push us into new all-time highs. Now, is the bull market just starting? Are we going to 500K? Well, I sure hope so. But that is not going to be my first targets. Maybe let me know in the chat. If you guys want to see the next local upper targets, if we break into new all-time highs, let me know. If not, I'll bring them up tomorrow or maybe as we get closer. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see that. But very simply put, guys, just sitting here waiting for these targets to get hit. We hit this level, melted right through it, hit into the golden pocket, saw the break of structure to the upside. I think not yesterday's live stream, but the day before was 120K incoming, or maybe it was the market update earlier yesterday saying 120K next question mark. There's a reason for that, right? Well, it's our value area high, right? When we're already cooking through this profile with money flow coming into the green, the continuation through that profile for that final target is going to be very likely, right? When I put X price next, there's a reason I put that, right? I don't just put that to create FOMO. Well, it's just literally the next place that I'm looking at for a target to the upside. And then obviously during the live stream last night, we wound up and started to come in and hit the beginning of that zone, which obviously started at 119K. So daily money flow still attempting to come back into the green here. You know, it's better than being in the red, but obviously this has been pretty choppy. Again, why I've been putting a little bit more weight on the key levels rather than money flow, because it's just been a bit chopped up. And I do think, right, even if money flow looks bearish, if we see FOMO come in and we start breaking into new all-time highs, like that's where you could see a money flow fake out. But I just can't bet that as like my base case, right? And, you know, it's just super mixed. This looks terrible, right? Money flow coming out very aggressively. The 4-hour looks great. The 3-day looks great. The weekly looks pretty good, right? Green dot, money flow coming up. This could definitely, and we also have the weekly green dot. We got the 6-day green dot. We got the 5-day green dot, which could also assist this push into the upside. So, you know, still praying for the fake outs on money flow, at least on the 2-day and the 4-day. But the other time frames are kind of pointing in the right direction. And this would go, right, like seeing a money flow fake out would go with the longer term scenario of holding above our key level of support, sitting at $107,000, right? And if you guys remember, like all the way back here when we got this breakout, we were okay even pulling back here on this dump to test this level. And then we went into new all-time highs, finally tested it. You know, this is okay, right? Because when we look at this from a high time frame volume profile perspective, right, it's like here's your initial breakout. Tapping onto this support, right, is not a bad sign, right? Like you're just looking to retest those range highs before potentially continuing into new all-time highs. If we break down below that, right, very clearly, I mean, I hate to be super repetitive, but like if we broke down below this, right, like much more bearish, right? 105K probably would have been next. And at that point, I would have been much more long-term bearish on Bitcoin because if you get accepted into this range, you could have seen these lower prices. But luckily, we didn't see that happen. As long as we held above 107K, the doorway to new all-time highs is open. So it's a little bit of a difficult call here because the doorway is open, but we are smashing into massive massive resistance. And again, I wouldn't really say massive, just very important, right? Because if, let's just say we do get the big dump here, right? Whether we reject from the 786 or the daily MPOC, and let's just say it is a major lower high before breaking structure to the downside here, which again is not necessarily my base case, but it would looking back, right? It would make a lot of sense, right? Because it is that golden pocket 786 retracement. So again, like my bias ever since we started getting this pump was cautiously optimistic because of the way money flow looks, right? It's like, well, hey, high time frame money flow looks a little sketchy, but this makes me cautiously optimistic because we are back inside of our local volume profile. Right, back inside this volume profile, beautifully flipping that value area low to support with this candle, and money flow coming up, right? So cautiously optimistic. That says the trend is going to continue up. We're inside the profile. No reason not to look up towards that 120K target. So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how I find these targets and why I say they could be potentially incoming. So yeah, we'll see what happens up here. We're just going to have to let price kind of settle down here. Let's come on down to the lower time frame here real quick. Hide these... hide this anchored VWAP so I can see the full chart here. Bada boom. All right, so we got a little bit of a golden pocket retest here. Is that 4-hour red dot still printing? Let's check the 15-minute here real quick. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely resistance, guys. I mean, this has been the $120,800 level we've been talking about for quite some time. And although it could give us the opportunity for the lower high, you just do have to be careful with that medium time frame money flow for higher lows and higher highs. That's pretty much my anticipation, right? Even if we reject here, let's say I take a short here. I know it's very confusing, guys. It's like, well, if you short here and you're expecting higher lows and higher highs, why would you short? Well, I just don't know, right? Like because the charts are so kind of mixed up here with money flow, it's like, in my opinion, right, it's worth taking a very low-risk short position here at a key level of resistance, right, even if that happens up here at the daily MPOC, right? Taking low-risk positions up here is worth a shot, in my opinion, right? And the reason for that is because I get at least, right, like even if we just get a little bit of a pullback here, right, it'll be enough to get me into profit, move my stop loss to break even, making it a risk-free trade. And then, you know, my anticipation is higher lows and higher highs. But if we don't get that, guess what? We can hold that position for much lower prices, right? Because if it's going to be that big dump, it could be a mega dump. But again, my bias here as far as the low time frame money flow, which has been a little bit more reliable than the high time frames right now, or at least a little bit clearer to look at, right? Helping us identify that full rotation of the range with the money flow crossover into the green. If you learn anything from this live stream, guys, money flow indicates the overall trend. When you're looking at a 4-hour time frame, no, it doesn't mean that this is going to launch you into new all-time highs alone, right? But this is going to let you know that, you know, this is a pretty big range. But on the 4-hour time frame, a trend up of, you know, from here to here of about 6% is definitely possible on a money flow crossover into the green on the 4-hour. So, you know, just based off this, right, if we got a big pullback here, I would just be, you know, very inclined to start looking at those Fibonacci retracements to the downside, right? Like even if you pull this like local one, let's pull up a lower time frame here. Right, like golden pocket, where does this sit? 119,493, 119,500, right? Like we could easily get that correction down. Higher low, higher high if you're going to continue that aggressive uptrend. But then once you lose this, right, it's like, well, hey, maybe we can start working our way down towards that point of control. So I would watch, I'm going to draw this zone out, right? I would watch between the value area high and this 786 Fibonacci retracement as your key level of support. If we push back down in here, I could look for higher lows. Once you lose the 786 at about 119.50, that's where you could potentially look for a bigger drop down towards the POC, and maybe we can even pull this as a little bit of a range here. Yeah, this is, I know this is a little bit wonked out here, right? It's kind of hard, right? Typically on these big moves to the upside, we just kind of like to let it ride out, right? Because we don't have like a ton of structure to analyze here. But this would be kind of what I would look at locally, and I'll hide all the other TA just to kind of make it a little bit more clear, so it's not range on top of range on top of range. But I would say probably number one. Let me see where this fits. So zone number one, I would say, is the value area high. You don't even have to really mark out the local golden pocket 786, but I would just say this value area high zone between 120 and 119,724. That's the big level, right? If we're just going to come down, hold the value area low, and continue up, that's probably the place where it's going to happen. But it really depends on what money flow looks like when we get down there. And by money flow, I mean on the lower time frame, something like the 15-minute. If that 4-hour red dot is printing, that we have for printing right now, and we come down here, and this money flow is crossing over into the red, I'm probably going to anticipate a continuation a little bit lower. So if we break back down into the range, the bigger levels that I would look at, so just simply zone number one, value area high to the 786 between 120.46 to 119.724. And then if we break down below that, I'd probably look at this confluence here, right? And I'm not going to keep the fib here. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. Local volume profile, like hyper local volume profile. Value area high, 119,295. Once we get accepted back into there, right, let's just say we don't get the higher low. We come back in here. We get accepted into the range. We can look to potentially come down towards this value area low. Maybe you want to sweep the lows. But again, at that point, right, I would expect to get sucked down towards that POC. But I'm just going to play this level to level for now, guys. Biggest key level, just from a simple perspective, is going to be that value area high. If we lose this value area high, again, 119.7-ish, better chance that we get accepted into the profile. But I wouldn't necessarily look at it as like a major collapse just because of that 4-hour money flow. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Asia will wake up and we'll get some more excitement here on the live stream like we did last night. Last night was fun. Shout out to anybody who stuck around the live stream last night. We were narrating that 1 second time frame. It was hilarious. I was having a blast. He even made some pretty good calls. I mean, for tiny little like 0.02% moves. But yeah, let's see. Let's check in on chat here. Yo, shout out to Cryptos R Us. Shout out to George. What is going on? Says Frankie, what do you think about Clash? Shout out to Cryptos R Us. Hey, I guess we'll have to take a look for George. Let me write that down. Shout out to George from Cryptos R Us. Clash. Shout out to you, brother, coming in flexing that check mark. Come on, baby. We're going for the check mark, George. We're trying to get our own check mark here. Give us some tips. Give us some tips. Smash that like button, guys. Push us out into the YouTube algorithm. We're trying to get that check mark, man. Shout out to George. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Good to see you. Shout out to Grumpy. Says, can you show how money flow looks when it reverses after aggressive moves? Trying to think of like exactly what you're looking for. Like something like this, right? We come down here. Now, to be clear, guys, I do not just trade based off money flow or indicators. This has a lot to do with key levels, right? Again, if you've been watching the show, we had our lower volume profile number 1, right? Like this was a big level, right? These blue boxes are typically where I'm looking for bounces. We had I believe it was a daily down here potentially. But we had the 786 in the value area low. Not only is this an important 786 because it gives us the low, the high, the potential higher low for a potential higher high for the break of structure to the upside that we covered. But just looking at this from a volume profile perspective, right? Like how am I viewing this? I'm just viewing this as undervalued price below the profile. Once you get back in there, flip the value area low, shoot up to the POC is the most likely case, right? Go to the POC, flip that, go to the value area high. It's also the money flow, but also the key levels in the volume profiles have a big thing to do with this. So it's not just money flow, but you can see here, right? What do? We deviated below, right? And then as our money flow started coming back up here on the 90-minute, you could see that's letting you know, well, hey, if we could reclaim this and that money flow crosses into the green, the trend is likely to continue to the upside, higher lows and higher highs, helping you rotate that profile and potentially beyond, which is exactly what we saw happen. So there's kind of an example of money flow reversing, but just generally, it is generally trending to the upside on the way for that money flow crossover. If you wait for the money flow crossover, sure, right, the continuation is likely, right? You get a pullback, right? But money flows in the green. So what are you looking for? You're looking for a higher low and a higher high, higher low, higher high, etc. And again, sometimes when you're looking for confirmations, guys, you just won't get them, right? For me personally, I was waiting for one more drop below the low here to put in a bullish divergence before looking for an actual entry into the long, which is why I didn't take that position. And I was not upset, right? Like I guess upset from like not from like a missed out on money standpoint, but just from like a missing a trade standpoint. I don't really ever tie, it's not the money that ever bothers me, right? It's just more like, dang, especially running a YouTube channel and everything. It's like, it's just so much more fun when you're holding along. And at that point, I was a little bit upset until I realized that I was accidentally, want to be clear, accidentally holding the long that I'm actually holding. So I am technically long, but it just wasn't, I just shouldn't be in the position. I deserved to get liquidated out of that position. It was poor trade management. And I know some people, like, it's like the money does nothing for me, right? Like this money, like, sure, all right, you're up $9,000, right? Or whatever it is. It's like awesome, right? But like, I'm like more upset that I'm holding this by accident, right? Like, because I broke my rules. I know that those rules and sticking to those systems are what is going to keep me making money consistently over time. And so it's like, yes, this is a good trade based off like making money, but it's a terrible trade because I thought I had been stopped out at break even here thinking like, oh, I'm all good. I'll just look for a new long position. And then I was like a little bit upset that I missed the long position. And then I opened this account back up and I was like, oh my God, my stop loss never got hit or I never set it. I don't even know what happened. So it's just like kind of like a weird situation. I'm like kind of upset about this trade. Like the money does not help me at all because I just know I broke my rules. It's like more important to me than just like getting lucky on a trade. And there's not a lot of people out there that'll be that transparent. Like a lot of people should be like, look, I longed the bottom, right? But like I just like being truthful with you guys. Like I did not mean to be in that position. And it's important if you want to learn how to trade. Like I would never recommend that. Like if you have a mindset that like, oh, but it's good, you didn't get liquidated. And like if you start trading like that, like if I take my next position, I'm like, I'm not going to set a stop loss because last time it helped me, it worked out for me. Like I'm going to get wrecked on a position. It's going to eat up all the profits that I've made consistently. But anyway. We're going to get into the altcoins in just a second here, guys. Getting the continued pullback here. So we'll see if we can make it down to this golden pocket. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the altcoins real quick for George. Let's check out Clash real quick. Now, I don't know the exact ticker here. Is it Clash? Is it this? Somebody let me know the ticker for Clash, and I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. I assume it's a meme coin, right? Oh, this one has George in its name. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But yeah, somebody just give me the, let me know if this is the right chart. Because if it is, I'll try to do the TA here. This is going to be difficult if this is it because there's not much to look at as far as price action. I honestly might not be able to help much with this. It's not much to mark out, to be honest. But someone let me know the ticker. Tony, if somebody drops the ticker in there, can you just highlight it for me so I can take a look at that? We got to help our boy George out. Come on. Let's see. All right, so real quick, guys, not only, right, did we have obviously the target, the 119 to 120K on Bitcoin tapped, but also, guys, Ethereum. What was the key level we were looking at on Ethereum yesterday? Key zone between 43.96 and 45.75. And we've been looking at two ETH charts here. Both targets have been hit, right? We had this. They're pretty much obviously the same chart. But this one we had daily, weekly, two daily MPOCs, a weekly MPOC, and a daily horizontal. So, sitting on the golden pocket, again, between the same zone that I just mentioned right here. Both targets on both charts were exactly the same, just from different contexts. This was a value area high. We went from the value area low, got back, pushed into the POC. Well, as long as we stayed above that POC, the next target was sitting right up here. And here we are sitting, guys. Not because I'm magical, not because I'm the best, not because I know something you don't know. It's just simply based off the volume profiles and also, of course, your money flow. Money flow was crossing into the green. That's what made us look up towards here for our target. Now, you still have the 786 sitting up here at about 45.67, but just simply a full rotation of the profile to the downside and a full rotation with the deviation below to the upside, right? Now, with money flow continuing to the green, right, we could also anticipate potential higher lows and higher highs for potential breakouts of this range, where I will be targeting next on Ethereum. Get rid of, or let me just pull this fib here from the absolute high all the way to the low, right? Also, you have your macro golden pocket sitting up here as well, so definitely resistance here into the macro golden pocket. Next target I will be looking at, if we can get above this golden pocket, is very simple, guys. Once you break above the golden pocket, where is the next place you're going to be looking? You're going to be looking up towards that 786. Just like here, local golden pocket, you get a little resistance, but once you break that, where are you looking to head towards? The local 786, which still sits up here. So I would say the biggest level to break above right now for Ethereum, I will adjust this, right, because we've already smashed through the beginning of this target. I would say sitting here between the 786 and the value area high, between 45.16 to 45.70 is the key level to break and hold, right? Maybe we get the cool off. Once you break and hold above this, I am looking up towards about 4,700. And then, honestly, once we get above that, let me take this off the chart. Once we get above that, guys, we're getting pretty close to the all-time high, right? I'll just mark off the all-time high. So just like on Bitcoin, $120,800 786 is your key level. Just ATH, right? We get above this 786, I would say, hey, go attack those all-time highs. Next targets to the upside for new all-time highs on Ethereum are going to be above $5,000, sitting at major targets, sitting at 57.63 all the way up to about 65.45. So the case here, if that 4-hour money flow is going to continue this uptrend, right? You know, you can bing bong around in the profile, but once you get above here, that's the last place to break above. Break above there, I'm happy for all-time highs. Now, we do have some local levels that you can look at as far as upper targets, right? You're not necessarily just going to instant Lambo candle up there. That would be very nice, but we do have to be aware that we do probably have some local fib levels in here. So, you know, 52.23 up to about 56.56. These are the local targets, so I'll just mark off the first one in case we get clung up on this first zone. So break above the all-time high. This is probably the first place where I would look for some kind of local interruption, right, or local turbulence. And then at that point, right, like you're just headed up towards that bigger target, right? But if you're here just for the bigger targets, I would say, for me personally, a significant new all-time high on Ethereum is probably going to come in around $5,800. Not $58,000, $5,800. So there you go. And then once we get up there, we can start to assess the situation, see if we can make it up here. And then, if high time frame money flow still looks good, which obviously we've been talking about this forever. Weekly money flow still in the green, looking to print that green dot on the weekly as well, right? Weekly money flow crossovers are absolutely key for any asset, in my opinion. You see weekly money flow crossovers, guys, it's typically indicative of a significant bottom being in. You can see our first major money flow crossover into the green on Ethereum was all the way back here. Right at that point, sure, you still got a pullback, but the bottom was in, and it was higher lows and higher highs from there. And then obviously we came down for one last crossover into the red, but now we're back in the green here, guys. I would still say higher lows and higher highs are more likely on Ethereum long term, just based off the money flow on the higher time frames as well as the 4 hour here locally. But as you tap into resistance, you just have to be aware, right? I think it's important to understand when and where you're going to get those rejections, because a lot of people get scared, like, oh my God, was that the last pump on Ethereum? Oh my God, what do I do, right? But I know that I am going to be looking for higher lows and potentially new higher highs. Let me come in here. I see some super chats coming in. Shout out to No Name. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know why. I didn't know you could have No Name on YouTube. Said, are you in on Crypto R Us's meme coin clash? I am not. I don't own any. Somebody mentioned it in chat the other day. We actually didn't get a chance to look at the chart. But, thank you, Tony, for pinning that comment. Okay, yeah. George plays Clash Royale. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, so that was the unfortunately, there's not going to be much that I can do here as far as TA on this. Where'd it go? Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be a ton that I can do here just because, like, there's not really any structure, right? Like, I could try, and especially with a meme coin, right? Like, the TA is only really going to help you out so much. I don't know what the market cap on this is, especially low cap meme coins. It's, like, not going to really be able to help out too much with TA. I mean, like, even if I tried to pull up some MPOCs or something, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, like, there's not much here, right? It's just, like, basically a big pump to the upside, which is awesome. But, I mean, you got a daily MPOC here. I have almost zero information on Market Cypher B. I can look at something like, like no 4 hour money flow. You are about to print a red dot, so maybe you get a little bit of a cool off. But like, this is just, there's not a ton of information on any time frame for me to make any like legitimate call on this. I would need to have some kind of structure to build out in order for me to like find some kind of like sound TA. Like even if I come to a lower time frame, it's like I can't even really pull any of these volume profiles. The one thing I can see here is that you do have the 4 hour red dot looking to print. But again, without any money flow, it's very hard for me to anticipate the continuation. But hey, listen, if we start entering in to the final stages of the bull market, guys, which again, like absolute nail biter here still for Bitcoin to go into new all-time highs and potentially, eventually see alt season come in, right? It would make a lot of sense, right, for that final phase to come in. And, if meme season starts, if altcoin season starts, obviously a lot, all tides, rising tides lifts all ships. But yeah, shout out to George, man. I wish I could help you out more on this, but to be quite honest, there's not a ton I can do here with such a new chart. But it looks like it's doing really well. So shout out to George. I mean, what is this from the bottom here? Nice 2,000% increase. But yeah, I mean, as far as like MPOCs and stuff, it's just like all these super, super lower levels. Would love to get, let me pull up a VPVR real quick. Yeah, I mean, what I could say is there's a lot of volume up here, right? So you have a super, super high volume node up here. You break this level, you can even see, like, once you lose this level, you get this big old wick to the downside. It doesn't mean that you can't get a bounce from there, but I would just be cautious, right? Like, if you lose this level, there's not a lot holding you up, right? You could even maybe pull this little volume profile, get a little sticking point right here. So I can even draw this out as just like a major zone. I'm not saying that it looks like it's going down here, but it's just like what I can analyze to the downside. So like I can see you do have some key levels down here as support, which is nice. Got your value area high, your POC, your value area low, so about 0.03366, right? That would be a big level. But again, you have this massive low volume gap. So your hope here, right? Me personally, I would say, stay up above this level of about 0.0472. That would be a big level because, like, once you break down in here, it could get very, very violent just because there's, like, lack of volume, right? Fast moves up oftentimes lead to fast moves down. And then what is price going to do when it enters that low volume gap? It's going to seek out that fair value. And, again, this is a meme coin. Take this with a grain of salt. The TA is not always the most helpful on meme coins. This thing could just keep cooking to the upside for all I know. But if you did get a breakdown, right, like this would be a pretty significant key level to look at. Assume that's the golden pocket as well. Yeah, golden pocket 786 held. That's very nice to see. But yeah, like once you break into that low volume gap, you crack that low, I'd look to come down here. But for the most part, right, you got the low, the high. You held this golden pocket 786, which is very nice. So, your hope is just kind of stay up here and keep cooking to the upside. If you break down, just watch that 0.047 level for a low volume gap. But other than that, stay up here. Looks pretty decent. Again, I wish I can call like more of a trend kind of direction with money flow, but I just not a lot of information. So there we go. Shout out to anybody holding this. And George. Looks like it's doing pretty well. Let's see. Can we take a look at Doge? Yeah, we can take a look at Doge. We already took a look at Ethereum. Gave my thoughts there. Just be aware. You're at resistance. You almost tapped into the value area high. But we covered those key levels. Solana as well, guys. Where's our next target on Solana? Obviously, long term, that target is going to be looked at up here between the value area high and the 786. Between about a 248 and 252. Oops. 248 and 252. But we also had these local levels, right? You have the local golden pocket and the local 786. But again, like overall, I would say based off money flow and just the fact that you're back inside this volume profile, right? We got the nice fill from the value area low to the POC, rotated to the high, nice bearish divergences for one more big fill of the range. And who was it? Jay Edits. Shout out to Jay Edits. Was it Jay Edits? Somebody took the long here on Solana or it was Indian Martini, I think, and he was riding this up. He already took partial profits at the POC. Shout out to him. Absolutely beautiful trade management there. And then the next thought process here is like, hey, hold that POC as support. Next major target would be the value area high at about 248. But also, on top of that, you do have the local golden pocket 786. We've already gotten above that golden pocket. Next local target for me, right? Yesterday, we were chilling down here, right? What was yesterday? The first round. Yeah, we were like kind of right here looking for that next target to be the golden pocket. Break above that golden pocket, guys. Next target locally is going to be 240.10. Maybe we get a little cool off there. Maybe get the rejection from the fib, right? But eventually, once you get above that 786, I would look for that full fill of the volume profile. Very nice to see. Now we're here. Let's see. Tomorrow, will we be sitting here? Hopefully, or here. Those are the next two big targets. We've been pretty much smashing these targets for the in the recent past. So we'll see if we can continue up there. And then also 4-hour money flow also indicating, right, trend is going to continue to the upside. This money flow stays in the green. Higher lows, higher highs could be in the cards. So just keep an eye on that. So shout out to Solana. Shout out to Sivashsk. Says, is Cypher B free version trustworthy? It's just different, right? I get this question all the time. It's just different, right? Like when I have a money flow crossover, sometimes you won't get the money flow crossovers on the other versions. They're not related to Market Cypher. I don't use any of the free ones. I wouldn't say like it's useless, right? It's just a separate indicator. I always say like, Lux Algo has the oscillator matrix with money flow as well. This money flow is not crossed over into the green yet on the 4-hour, but it is crossed over on Market Cypher B. Is that because Market Cypher B is better or Lux Algo is better? No, it's just different indicators, right? So yeah, I mean, if you don't know, I would definitely recommend the paid version of Market Cypher 100%. I prefer that. I mean, I never really used the free one, but if you have no money to lay out, right, like it might help to just at least look at something, right? Like just because I look at Market Cypher B doesn't mean, right? I use Market Cypher B for divergences, right, which is some of the stuff you saw down here on Solana. You have the bullish divergences, lower lows, higher lows into your key level. You get back into the range. You look to go to the POC and potentially the high. This does not mean that, the RSI is invalidated or not good, right? Like the RSI is probably giving you those bullish divergences as well. Of course, it didn't. But, more often than not, you're going to see the same divergences on the RSI as Market Cypher. Does that mean that you shouldn't be using Market Cypher? No. Does it mean the RSI is useless? No. So you just kind of have to work with what you have available, right? If you have no money to lay out on Market Cypher, I think it'll pay for itself in very short amount of time. But you don't need this. You don't need anything paid. You could trade for completely free. If I had everything taken away from me and I could only use free resources to trade, I would still be able to trade, right? Market Cipher is just like one of the most beautiful things you can look at. Like even the 4-hour money flow crossover into the red, right? Cross is green. You're in the profile. You're looking to fill that range in full. You get the rejection. Money flow starts coming out right here. You're looking for the continuation and the full fill. You get the bounce. Money flow is now crossing into the green, which could be nice for the bigger continuation up. So yeah, maybe I'll do a video like kind of comparing them, but they're just going to be different. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Roman. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you. Said, yo, what's up, Frankie? Thanks for the free juice in the charts. Can we take a look at maple syrup? Yeah, we could try to take a look at maple syrup. Quick reminder, guys, please do not super chat your altcoins. I mean, you can, but it just does not guarantee that we're going to take a look at them. We just can't promise that we're going to have enough time. But let me go through some of these super chats. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Jimmy James. Thank you for the super chat. Says, Frankie, I got to tell you, I found your twin. He works for me as a driver, just started last week. It's so trippy how similar you guys look. On the other note, happy to catch a live stream, bro. If you got a minute, render. All right, we'll try to take a look at render. Again, no guarantees, but we will try our best. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jimmy. Let's see. And then, let's see. Barry, thank you for the super chat. He wants to see Turbo. We will try to take a look at Turbo. Again, super chats do not guarantee. Just one more time, guys. I'm going to try my best to get to all these, but obviously, if we take super chats for altcoin requests, right, we'll just get a bunch of dollar super chats, and we'll have 1,000 altcoins to look at, which would be impossible. But I will try my best. All right, so let's continue on here. We took a look at Solana. We took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at Bitcoin. We took a look at Clash. Let's take a look at XRP real quick. So XRP, here we are. Nice move to the upside. We flipped that value area low yesterday, I believe. Yes. So we were above the value area low yesterday. The mission yesterday was stay on top of the volume profile. If so, the doorway is open to the POC. Now, obviously, we are getting a pretty harsh rejection here from the anchored VWAP. This is not something you want to ignore. That's why I leave it on the chart. But you're just within your profile now, right? So doesn't mean that you can't continue down, right? Or continue up to hit that POC, right? And when it comes to volume profiles, guys, for the most part, right, I am looking at this as the overall blueprint for where price is going to go next. So 4-hour money flow is in the green, right? 4-hour red dot might be looking to print here pretty soon. So if you do kind of pull back, kind of the same mission as yesterday, right? You want to hold the 291 value area low. As long as you can stay above there, the doorway to the POC is still open. Of course, you're going to still have to get above that anchored VWAP. But from a volume profile perspective, from a money flow perspective, 4-hour looks good. And you are just within your profile, right? You're pretty far away from the value area low. So you have some room to come down here to potentially continue up towards that point of control. So next target to the upside for XRP is going to be about 314. That's it, right? 314 is going to be the next target, and then your key level support is still going to be 291, just like yesterday. We're just, literally the same exact situation, except we're just a little further away from that value area low, which is nice. So there you go. Now we can take this fib off the chart. And yeah, not too much other to update there. We could take a look at some of the higher time frames on XRP. Daily money flow, very nicely curving to the upside. Not too shabby. 2-day, green dot, money flow crossover into the green. 3-day. Money flow cooking up here. This actually is a little less, and of course, the money flow on the 4 days in the red. But this looks like it might be able to come back into the green with this fresh green dot. Again, the high time frame money flow has just been a little bit difficult. But again, you don't have to be completely tied to money flow, right? Because at the end of the day, if I wasn't looking at money flow and I break down out of this range and I start breaking my 786s, right, I'm just going to be looking for the drop down anyway. Biggest key level of support down below, right, in a big way is going to be the 250 to 260 golden pocket. But as of right now, let's see if I can get some confluence on this value area low. That's nice. That's exactly what I wanted right there, guys. So, yeah, I would say hold above, of course, the value area low, but if you wanted to get a little more nitty-gritty, value area low comes in at about 2, golden pocket, 786, value area low confluence, 292 to 287. Even if we came back down to retest this value area low, you could still hold it before coming up to the POC. Once you lose that 786, that's where you can look for the bigger drop down. So there you go. That's what I would look at on XRP or XRP, as some people like to say. Let me take a sip of this black coffee really quickly. Shout out to Captain Kirk. Said, did I miss something? What hour am I? What hour? Where am hour in? Where? Shout out to Captain Kirk. Welcome in. Let's see. Just make sure I'm not missing anything important here in the chat. Pengu. Ooh, we haven't taken a look at Pengu for a while. What's maple syrup? Shout out to Wolf of Crypto. All right, let's take a quick look at Dogecoin. H-bar as well. I think we said we were going to take a look at H-bar yesterday. Again, guys, I'm going to try to get to as many of these as I can. H-bar, Doge. Maybe I'll just run through my list here, too. Start looking at stuff that's interesting. But yeah, real quick, let's start off with Dogecoin. Let's take a look at Doge. Because I also have to try to cover things that we haven't looked at in a while, guys. As much as I like to look at stuff every day. No TA on Doge? What is going on here? Is this the right template? Oh, all right. Never mind. That was a complete glitch. Come on, TradingView. What are you doing, man? There's the... Everybody's on the charts today. TradingView is slow. All right. Well, very nice here, guys. As you know, anchored VWAP, golden pocket retracement, value area high of the local range. This was your key level of support. This is the first area where you had an opportunity to look for a bounce, with your key level above being the POC. And just to take a grand scheme look at this, guys, so I'm not super confusing everybody. I know there are a lot of levels, and not everybody is on the same difficulty level when it comes to trading, right? So we're above the value area low. From a long-term perspective, being above this level is bullish because we have been undervalued. We got back into the range. POC, at this point, as long as you stay within this range, the doorway back to the POC and potentially into the value area high is open. So when we look at this, we're at the POC now, and we also held those local key levels of support. This was the first opportunity to get the bounce. If we lost this and could not get back out of this volume profile, I would simply look at the value area low / 786 Fibonacci retracement. We didn't have to come down there, at least yet, and we are holding here. This is somewhat nice. Let's take a look at money flow. 10-hour money flow looks pretty bearish, honestly, but your 4-hour money flow looks good. Honestly, I might just hold off on looking at money flow for a little while. But 4-hour money flow looks very similar. Like, all the money flow is going to look very similar on every single altcoin, if we're being honest, right? Like, it's just freshly crossing into the green, just like on Bitcoin, just like on Ethereum, just like on Solana, just like on Dogecoin, just like on everything, right? You can come into any altcoin here, and you're going to see a very, very similar setup. Some stuff is going to be a little different, a little further behind, a little further ahead. You can see Cardano getting the 4-hour money flow crossover, Fartcoin just getting the money flow crossover, Ondo just getting the money flow crossover, Virtuals about to get the money flow crossover, Tau just getting the money flow crossover, TARS just getting the money flow crossover, INJ just getting the money flow. This is all the same, right? When you look at the money flow. So I don't want to just be super repetitive looking at all that stuff. But what does this mean? It means the same thing as everything else, right? And especially as Dogecoin is still within its larger profile, we could just see the continuation of the uptrend, right, locally here. So POC is definitely resistance, but in my opinion, once you get above this POC, right, well, we could start cooking up and beginning our journey to continue up towards the much bigger target up here towards that value area high at about 38 cents. Now, obviously, this is pretty far away still, but for the most part, this is the next key level above you, right? And let me just pull this fib from the high to the low. I would say once you crack about 28 cents, 29 cents almost, that would be kind of the doorway to continue your uptrend and look for the break of structure to the upside. Crack this, break that, right? Come up here, right? You could still technically money flow. Now, why would I not be super interested in a lower high and a massive lower low in this golden pocket 786? Well, the reason would be because of your money flow. Your money flow is saying the probability is higher that if you come up here, right, you're going to get a cool off. And if you get that cool off, right, I would look to hold that POC. The POC is the biggest key level of support, right? So get above this, flip the POC. That opens the doorway to come up to your macro golden pocket / weekly MPOC, which I could actually separate into two different levels, right? I would look at the golden pocket weekly MPOC because you have confluence there. And then the second zone is obviously going to be, the 786 to the value area high, right? So we'll see if we could do that. Same thing as like Solana, right? You have like the local levels before you get to the value area high, but overall, from a high time frame perspective, you're hoping that you could come up. You're hoping that you could come up and fill this entire range, which would make sense based off money flow, at least as of right now. 5-day money flow, not looking too hot. Again, I hate to just keep bringing up the confusing, 3-day looks great, right? So again, money flow kind of not really helping us out there on the higher time frames, at least as of right now. So there you go. That's what I'll be looking at on Dogecoin. If you break back down, right, let's just say you reject the gold PLC and get a massive drop down, well, I would still be looking down towards the 786 value area low, sitting between 23 and 20 cents. But right now, this looks good for a nice bounce. Flip that to support. You could keep cooking your way to the upside. So there you go. Let's see. H-bar. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at H-bar next. Shout out to Samuel S. said Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Shout out to Michael S. Do you drive one of those? Those are pretty sweet. That means the Dogecoin millionaire will be a millionaire again. Shout out to Dizzy Gang. Oh, my God. I've seen the podcast with him. What a brutal, brutal thing, man. What a brutal thing. He played it so right, and then he played it so wrong. Let's see. All right, so let's take. Do you want to take a quick look at H-bar? Actually, let me just take a quick. Let me just run through these alt lists real quick, guys. I'll point out when I see something interesting, right? So Pepe. I'm just going to run through like quick analysis here, just quick thoughts on these charts, and if I see something interesting, and then I'll dig deeper into some of the requests. Cardano, still in the same situation, right? We're just still bing-bonging around these two massive areas of value, right? Value area number 1, value area number 2. We're holding value area below as support, which is very nice, and we are using the value area low below or above as resistance, right? I would say personally, based off your 3-day money flow, based off potentially being able to enter alt season at some point soon. I'm not calling a day. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying next week. But from a long-term trend perspective, this 3-day money flow is typically pretty good for altcoins, especially if we see Bitcoin start to pop off. And remember the overall thought process here for me, guys. Personally, my overall sentiment here on the market is that Bitcoin could be entering that final phase of the bull market, where we see the last parabola come in, which is obviously going to eventually shuffle its excitement into the altcoins. And then, of course, I am looking for this to be like one last impulse to the upside for a potential top to come in, right? If it doesn't come in, right, maybe we don't even get to all-time highs, but it's just the if this, then that. Stay above 107K, doorway to all-time highs is open. If we get that, it would be very nice. We have the rate cuts. Even though it's like a slow rate-cutting cycle, you technically have the looser monetary policy. You have the Bitcoin dominance still looking bearish, right? So this would kind of line up if you see those money flow crossovers happening on the altcoins, right? So for Cardano, you have the 3-day money flow crossover, which could indicate the high time frame trend continuing to the upside. So you still just got to get above about 90 cents here to get accepted into the profile. Flip $100.21. That's where you can look to continue up through that profile. Biggest level to get above here to hold is 90 cents. Very simply put. The only way I would be worried about Cardano on a pullback is if we come down here. I mean, 786, I would anticipate to come down and test the value area high, but at the end of the day, it's not until we lose this value area high, unless we get a massive crash and we start losing this value area high and getting accepted into this range. In that case, that would be very bearish for Cardano, but we are very far away from that. And with money flow headed for more likely a continuation to the upside, I'm much more interested in getting accepted up here. So there you go. Fartcoin. Still holding its key level of support, which is obviously the weekly and monthly NPOCs. Very nice tap of that support, and we have our value area above us, right? I will turn this purple, right, because that is going to be major resistance, and I will change this fib, right? You also had your 786 Fibonacci retracement down there, low, high, potential higher low before another higher high. It would be a long term, right? Not expecting that tomorrow or the next day or next month. Be more long term, but 3-day money flow doesn't look as good. 2-day money flow trying to come back up. You also had the 2-day bullish divergence down here. Nice little confirmation. Lower lows, higher lows. So right now, I would say your next big key level is going to be, let me get rid of this golden pocket. And it just goes to show, right? If you don't hold that golden pocket, guys, you are going to be looking for that 786. This is the first opportunity to put in a higher low before seeing a higher high, right? If you don't hold this, you're looking down towards that 786. Second opportunity to put in the higher low and the higher high long term. Just to give you a little context here. But I'm going to take that golden pocket off the chart because it's already ran through. Dirty golden pocket. But I would say sitting right here between about 71 and 77 cents. This is the doorway to higher prices. Get above here, flip this to support. With your money flow coming up on the higher time frames, you can look for the continuation up towards that POC and then eventually look to head towards your bigger level of resistance, which would be the macro golden pocket 786 / value area high, which would give you a full fill of the range. And then once you crack above this, you can start to look for new, maybe not new all-time highs, but yeah, I would say probably likely that you're going to see new all-time highs, right? Because you're leaving. If you impulse out of this area of balance, right, price likes to get attracted towards fair value which we don't, right? Let's just assume we had a range up here, right? And then we came down to create this range, and we had a value area up here. I would personally say to myself, once I impulse out of this range, price is going to seek out the fair value, which would be new all-time highs. But we don't have a fair value up there, so we would just have to look at Fibonacci extension zones. which in my opinion, not to get ahead of ourselves here, guys, but, if you saw new all-time highs, you could look up into like the 335 to 432 level. I did not mean to draw that directly to that level. It's kind of weird. And I would say the technical doorway to all-time highs on Farcoin would be 220. Mark it off on your chart. But you got a long way to get there, right? So just pay attention here. 4-hour money flow and 5-hour money flow, also, or 4 hours in the green, 5-hour following suit, right? So that could indicate that locally here, you could continue the uptrend to flip that level and continue up. So we'll keep an eye here. You still got to get above that value area low. All right, let's continue on. Take a look at Ondo. All right, so we did look at this local range on Ondo. I got to pull this fib down a little bit because we made a new low, but still doesn't really change the level too much. But we have this local volume profile. Whoops. Let's turn off this main VP, right? So we have this local volume profile that we marked out, right, just to give some local analysis rather than just looking for new all-time highs. Here's your value area low, right? And just simple volume profile theory, guys. I mean, learn how to use the volume profiles. It'll change your life. I'll say it every day. Break back into the range, rejection, or break down, back to the POC, can't get out of the range. You're looking to lose the POC, go down to the value area low. Here's your deviation, undervalued price. You're looking for a reclaim of your value area low to potentially continue back up and fill it in full. Money flow on the 4-hour, obviously, crossing into the green. You have now broken above the value area low and flipped it to support. This could open up the door to where? Next likely place for price to go would be that POC, as long as you hold above that value area low, which it looks like you flipped it to support very nicely with money flow coming up. Two reasons to be looking up for that POC to be the next target. Sitting here between $1.01 and $1.04. Plain and simple. Value area low comes in at 93 cents. POC comes in at $1.01. Also confluent with the golden pocket, which runs up to about $1.03. Once you get above that POC golden pocket, we're looking up towards the 786 value area high. Two beautifully confluent levels. Because once you hold the value area low, you look to go to the POC, right? Because this is confluent with the golden pocket, I can say to myself, well, hey, if I flip this POC and break above the golden pocket, we can look. Break above the golden pocket, you look to the POC. Break above the POC, you look towards the value area high. Two reasons to see that fill if we break above that point of control. All right, let's see. Yo, what is going on in chat right now? Guys, excuse me. Hey, guys, Frankie Candles here. What's with the turtles? Excuse me. Shout out to Roy, said Frankie, no doubt the best trading live stream online. Let's go. Shout out to Roy. I appreciate you so much, bro. Roy, do you know what the turtles are about? You guys are making me panic. Is there a turtle? What are we doing here, guys? What is with the turtle? It better not be a Franklin joke. Hey, better than inhalers in the chat. Crypto tortoise? What is this? What the heck? What is going on? Crypto tortoise was here? Shout out to Crypto Tortoise. Zero disrespect. Who is Crypto Tortoise? I'm not familiar with Crypto Tortoise. Apparently he's awesome because he's got a bunch of turtles in the chat right now. Turtle Power. You missed it. Crypto Tortoise. Am I tripping? Who is Crypto Tortoise? What is going on? Yo, somebody fill me in. The eggs have hatched. What is going on? Bro, what is this? What is going on? Bro, I like turtles. I do like turtles, guys. How? Okay. Shout out to Tony D said, nah, Mafia trolling. Well done, Wolf of Crypto. What? Bro, what is going on? Ban the tortoise emoji. What is going on? What does this mean? Yo, what is going on? Yo, Attract All says no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Well, hey, shout out to now we're trolling you, bro. Is Crypto Tortoise not a thing? Bro. Bro, what is going on? I thought you guys were... Yes, I love you, Mafia. Shout out to Wolf of Crypto. I guess it's just pure troll. I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Wolf of Crypto. Most of us have no idea what's going on. All right, well, at least I'm not alone. I thought it was like a Franklin the Turtle joke. John says, dot, please. Oh, God. He's made up. All right, shout out to Crypto Tortoise, guys. Maybe I should have been Crypto Tortoise as my YouTube name because my name is Franklin. All right, lit. I love you, Frankie. I hate to say it, but I'm definitely afraid of turtles and tortoise eye. That's how you say the plural of tortoises, guys. All right, let's continue on. Random animals in the chat right now. Spam it up, baby. Spam it up. Put your favorite animal in the chat right now. I'll put my favorite animal in the chat by a long shot. This is my favorite animal right here, guys. A clean old GSP. My dad just got a new puppy. It's kind of like a GSP, but it's actually not. They're almost the same breed, but it's called a Deutsche Kutzaha. Some special sportsman breed of GSPs. Drop your favorite animal in the chat. Should have done this during Dogecoin. Should we take a look at a cat meme coin? All right, let's continue on. All right. Dang, what did John ask for? John asked for DOT. I'll take a look at DOT for you, no problem. I'll do a quick check-in on that. But I'm just going to kind of shuffle down the list here, guys, right? Because there are some interesting things happening on some on a lot of stuff is like kind of in the same situation. But virtuals, man, holding on top of this daily for the life of it. Key level on virtuals for anybody who's interested, 88 cents, right? You don't want to lose this. 88 cents would be a massively, massively bearish level to lose. And I would probably be looking down into the 60s and potentially even the 50s and lower. Goats in the chat. Goats in the chat only. We'll do goats, then dogs, then cats, then lions. Well, let's see here. Take a look at Tau. Tau also with the reclaim of the value area low, right? Almost the same exact situation as as Ondo, right? Ondo flipping that value area low. Very nice to see potential acceptance into here. Could be bullish, especially with money flow crossing into the green. Now, this would be different if I had some kind of a Fibonacci retracement here, which we do, hilariously enough. But if money flow was in the green, crossing into the red, I would look for a much bigger drop to the downside. I'd be looking for a lower high and a lower low. But because money flow is crossing into the green, I am looking for the opposite, and I am looking at the acceptance into this range as more bullish for a potential higher low and higher high to continue up through the profile. And it's the same thing here on Tau, right? You're breaking above that value area low. You're flipping it to support. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to hold it, but if you're able to hold it, that POC could be the next stop at about 348. Penguins in the chat, bro. This is wild. What is going on, bro? The chat is just shilling now. Shilling coins, shilling emojis. Unbelievable. I love it. I love it. What is that? Red card. That red card emoji is hilarious. All right, continuing on here. But again, Tau in a very similar situation. You got this massive volume profile. I would definitely be careful around the POC because I assume, before I pull it, right, I assume the golden pocket is somewhat confluent with that point of control. Let's see. There it is. Smack dab in the middle. So next major target on Tau, if you're able to stay on top of that value area low, would be obviously the POC, but you could also just look at the golden pocket 786. And again, what I'd be looking for, lower highs and lower lows. Well, it doesn't mean it can't happen, but the probabilities here are probably higher that the trend continues to the upside. I like this money flow, on the 4-hour continuing up. So that would be the next target to the upside. Break above the 786, look to crack structure, and start pushing up back into your value area high. Taking a look at INJ, already holding the value area low, already has flipped the POC, and now you're tapping into, this is not the correct fib, that is an old fib. Yeah, look at that, back above this anchored VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and hide this one, although it is there. Again, yeah, like back above the low, back above the POC. At this point, I would say stay above that point of control, anchored VWAP zone. Value area high would be the next likely target at about 13.59. Plain and simple. Money flow also still in the green here. So we'll look different on some altcoins, but for the most part, that 4-hour money flow, until that 4-hour money flow tanks back out into the red, right? Higher probability scenarios, higher lows and higher highs. Taking a look at, I'll take a look at stuff that people actually want to see here. Chainlink, already, still rejecting the POC. I would still say here the biggest key level is going to be the value area low. But the nice thing here is I don't know if we have to come back down here. And the reason for that is just because we have not filled this profile in full, right? Get above the low, go to the POC. Get above the POC, go to the value area high. We got above the high, full rotation of that volume profile, deviation below the low, reclaim of the value area low. From a volume profile perspective, the anticipation here would be higher lows and higher highs to get above the POC and then target the value area high at about 31.40. That is what I would be looking at as far as the next stops on Chainlink. 4 hour, money flow still crossing into the green. That's nice for the continuation. And if we pull the local golden pocket, let me see. Are we bouncing off the golden pocket right now? That's nice to see, right? So locally, this could be a higher low before seeing that higher high into the value area high. So just from a simple volume profile theory, like the reason, right, money flow continues to the upside on the 4 hour. Money flow, check the daily real quick. Yeah, daily money flow back in the green here on the daily. Yeah, I mean, you're holding the higher low. Let's see if we can cook back up here and fill this entire volume profile. Could be messy, right? Doesn't mean you can't break down. If you do break down, this is still a major key level of support sitting between 17 and about 16 cents. But very nice to see that we're holding this local golden pocket. Or I don't know if you call it local, but so there you go. Lose this, I'm looking down. More likely, right, you could look at the 786 at about 18.14, but more likely I'm looking to fill to that value area low. But I would love this. Would be just the cleanest volume profile rotation into the POC, higher low on your Fibonacci golden pocket retracement into the value area high. Break the POC, I'm looking up towards $31. Break below the golden pocket, I'm probably looking down closer to $16. And I think I said 16 and 17 cents down here. This is obviously dollars. $17 to $16. Look at a lot of charts, guys. I look at a lot of charts. It gets difficult sometimes. All right, let's see. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. Let's see. Shout out to Iker, says, eats New Yorker slices, prints money with Ninja Money Flow crossover. Shout out to Iker. I don't know if you're talking about you or me or both of us. Let's go. I like it. Nothing like making some money on Money Flow crossovers as you're eating a beautiful New York slice. All right, Aster 2. This is one I've been getting asked about a lot. We will try to take a look at Aster. I have like 40 altcoins now, guys. So I got to try to get through some of them. Turtle coin, please. Shout out to Wolf Crypto. Shout out to Teehee Steve, says BTC confirms a 6-hour SFP. Would you consider shorting that? Let's see. Question is a 6-hour SFP of what? Like SFP of this wick, SFP of the golden 786. Kind of hard to say. Me personally, when I look for SFPs, I like to identify a low, right? Let's just say, or a high. Right, a high where I know I have liquidity sitting, right? So I pick out the high where I think I have liquidity sitting. In this case, for the all-time high, we did have liquidity sitting above this high, right? So if you can mark out that you have liquidity sitting above a high, right? There are specific levels that I like to SFP. If I could see on the heat map I have liquidity sitting up here, and then I get a swing failure pattern, those are the ones that I really like to take. It doesn't mean that you can't take an SFP based off of anything else. You totally can. But for me personally, right, like here, I just don't really see a wick, what significant wick that we would be SFPing, right? Unless you're just looking at the local SFP, which, could be possible, right? Like maybe, you could look for an SFP of the 6-hour wick. I would just more view that as a tap into the key resistance with bearish divergences forming, right? So I wouldn't really trade it as an SFP, maybe using it as like an entry trigger. I don't trade 6-hour SFPs, but it would be somewhat of a sign of a reversal, right? But I would be looking at this as like, hey, you have the 786's resistance, it's key resistance, right? And if you're going to get a pullback, I just wouldn't really be looking at this as an SFP specifically, personally, right? Doesn't mean you can't look for, maybe you're just looking at this 6-hour wick to SFP. Totally could be the case. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just wouldn't be looking at it from an SFP perspective. But that's just me. Doesn't mean you can't. I would like to see an SFP, right? Like even a daily SFP of the 786 might be nice to see a. But again, it's just like I like to see those significant highs or lows, right? With liquidity sitting above. Yeah, kind of. Of course, anytime you short all-time highs, right? Or not all-time highs, but anytime you short big moves up. Like for me personally, guys, I can't look for anything. I'm not looking for longs up here, right? there's no way I would ever look for a long up here. It's just not a place where I would look for a long, right? Like, especially like a swing long, right? Because if you're looking from like a swing perspective, right, where's your stop loss going to go? Right? Like, even if you want to go below this high or low, right? Like, pretty brutal stop loss, right? Or even like below the actual low. It's like that stop loss is just crazy. Doesn't mean that you can't try to catch like a super local entry, right? Like, I don't know, if you're like trading a lower time frame, maybe it turns into a swing trade. But this is just not the place for me to be looking for longs. I have one option. I say this all the time, right? When we came down to $107,000, I said the same thing, right? Like, am I going to short down here? Absolutely not. Why? I missed, if I didn't short the high, which I did, like, where do we take our shorts? We take them on the pushes to the upside, right? And same thing up here. I can almost guarantee you can find clips of me saying the same thing up here. This is not a place to look for a long. If we are long from the bottom or at least some kind of a pullback. I personally was long from this little pullback on this move, right? But I enjoyed this entire move up. I can't look for longs up here. The only thing I can look for is shorts. Is it dangerous shorting all-time highs? I mean, it's only dangerous if you're risking more than you're willing to lose, right? If I took the short here and I got stopped out, is it dangerous? I wouldn't consider it dangerous. I would consider it lower probability, maybe a little lower probability, but I mean, danger is relative, right? It's like, are you shorting with your whole account on the line and you're going to get liquidated if you make a new high? Well, then it's dangerous. But at the end of the day, like, you could take low probability trades with tight stop loss. It doesn't necessarily make them dangerous as much as it's just lower probability. So again, like, you know, I took this with a tight stop loss. Could I have gotten stopped out on that? Sure. But I was also holding longs from here and longs from here. So they would have continued to pay me out. So, at the end of the day, you know, the good short positions are going to be had when price is moving up. I don't understand. A lot of people just think like, oh, why would you ever short all-time highs? I'm just like, well, I'm not going to long all-time highs. Like, why would you long all-time highs, right? So, like, even here. Now, mind you, I am holding the long position. Again, the bad long position that I don't want to even really talk about that much. But even if I had no long exposure here, which obviously I do, if I had no exposure long here, I would still not be chasing this position, right? I would not be chasing a long here. I would have to be chasing a short. In order for me to long, I need some kind of a pullback, right? I can't just long a giant green candle. As a matter of fact, more often than not, I am shorting those big green candles, right? Doesn't mean it's not always going to play out. But when we got down here, am I FOMO shorting here? Absolutely not. The only thing I can do is look for longs. Why? Well, we came into massive support. We've already gotten a massive drop to the downside. Why would I look to short after the entire move down? If you're not short from up here or one of these retracements, you've missed the move down, right? This is not the time to short, right? This is the time to, as a matter of fact, long. We did long the bottom here at 107K. And then I looked to compound it here, and I took a new long position here, thought I set my stop loss, missed liquidation by $200, and now that's the long I'm holding. That's why I say the long position I'm in from here is not a good long position. It is up money, but it is not a good long position. Why? Because I wasn't supposed to be in it. It wasn't part of the plan. That's simple reason, right? Just wasn't part of the plan. Sure, I'm up money. Great. And I know it seems crazy. Like, how could you not be happy with that? It's like, sure, I'm happy from a money perspective, but not from a trading plan perspective. And I know that having my sound trading plan is going to make me more money than just, you know, getting lucky once in a while. But just to kind of point to that whole thing, right? Like, you just can't look for long. I just would never look for longs up here. Same thing I said up here. Same thing I said down here. I'm not looking for shorts. Same thing here, right? You're going to look for fresh shorts down here? No. Where were we short from? Literally the top, right? And it's not to say, oh my God, I shorted the top on the best. It's just like, this is where you want to look for shorts. You have bearish confirmations after a big pump up. You could at least look for a retracement, even if you put in a higher low and a higher high. Like, that's where you want to look for the shorts, not after you come down. But it's just like backwards to what a new trader would think, right? A new trader would think, oh, up means good. Now we're going up, guys. Now I want a long. Well, it's not wrong, right? Like, it's not that you don't want to look for longs, but you just don't want to look for longs after this big move up, right? You got to wait for the retracements. So anyway, I digress. But let's continue on here. So let's take a look. I'm going to start knocking out some of these requests. Let's take a look at H-bar. Shout out to Lucia, said, Frankie, isn't Bitcoin too vertical on the daily chart? I don't know exactly what you mean by too vertical. You mean just like too vertical as in like we have to pull back? I mean, that's also relative, right? Like, you could say vertical for quite some time. It really depends. But again, like, pullbacks happen, right? You're not just going to go up in a straight line forever. Even on the massive pushes up, right? Like, even in this massive push up, right? It doesn't go up forever. Where do people usually FOMO in? Usually where we're looking for shorts, right? And then you're just better off waiting for those pullbacks. I don't want to cover that too much, right? Like, that should be, you know, buy low, sell high. It sounds very easy, but if you kind of like keep track of what your mentality says when you're looking to, when you're actually trading, when you're actually investing, your brain's going to kind of pick at you a little bit like, hey, man, look, it's coming up. You might want to long here. That's emotion. You don't want to trade based off that. I like to trade based off information. Let's see. We already took a look at ADA. Shout out to Alan. If you scrub back a little bit, you will see Cardano. Frankie can move these charts like a pro. Yeah, guys, sorry. I made a big old buy on Bitcoin earlier. That's why we're pumping. That's why we're pumping, baby. But anyway, let's take a look at HBAR real quick. All right. It's a bull flag, guys. It's a bull flag. Oh, my God. HBAR to 59 cents. Let's go. I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe not, but that's not what I would look at. But let's take a look here. Where's my actual HBAR chart? Habar, show us who you are. Okay. All right, trying to crack above this anchored VWAP. I wouldn't be as interested in this one as I would be in the one from the top, which is still sitting here in this confluence. So, honestly, not too much of an update. We haven't looked at HBAR in quite some time. You're holding the 786, which is, I guess, nice for the time being. Biggest level still remains here. Do I have to move this fib? No. Fib still remains accurate. 23 to 24 cents, right? Golden pocket, daily horizontal, anchored VWAP, value area low, 786 Fibonacci retracement. This is, right? And you can also like just kind of look at this as a general trend line as well, right? Like this is the level to break above. Once you get into this balance, get above this 786, kick this up towards about 26 cents. That's what I'm looking at, right? 16-hour money flow crossing into the green could make you anticipate the continuation of the trend. 4-hour money flow also crossing into the green. So again, money flow is all pointing, at least on the medium and hourly time frames, is looking up. Are the higher time frames still chopped up? 2-day money flow headed in the right direction, curving up here. 3-day money flow crossing into the green, which again is a very nice sign for altcoins for the most part. Still a little bit early there, but you are about to print a green dot. Sometimes when you can get the green dot and the money flow crossover at the same time, you can get a little bit of extra chutzpah in there. 4-day green dot looking to print money flow. Still kind of 5-day in the red, 6-day coming out. Weekly money flow trying to cross into the green. So, yeah, I mean, really what I would take away from here is you have the weekly money flow crossover into the green. You have the local low time frame money flow crossovers into the green on the 4-hour, even creeping up here on the 5-hour as well. So, yeah, I mean, for me personally, right, like this is not a place where I would trade, right? I would either be looking for probably scalp shorts here, right, because my bias is money flow is coming up, probably a continuation up into the range and higher is probably the higher probability. But, you know, this is not a place where I would look for a trade personally. But, yeah, I mean, this is your next key level of resistance on HBAR, 23.235 and 0.244. Massive, massive confluence there. But, you know, on the flip side of that coin, flip this to support. I'd be looking up here at about 26 cents. Get above there. Let's cook into the macro POC at 30 cents. Biggest level to break, 24 cents. And the zone sits between 23.5 and 24 cents. All right, let's see. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto, said my cousin is looking to pick up another AR. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. Relevant chat for someone named Satoshi Glakamoto. Let's go. Or some people like to call him Satoshi Sigamoto. Shout out to Steve, said Frankie moves these charts around as fast as he talks. I will need to rewatch and slow it down for my simple mind. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Steve. All right, let's continue on. Shout out to Iker, says, I'm the luckiest lurker here, and even I tap the thumb thing, the thumbs thing. Come on, lads. Don't be me and hit it 3 times for the man here. Shout out to Iker. Smash that like button, guys. Smash the dang like button. Maybe we'll narrate the 1-second chart again if we get some volatility, guys. I might just start doing that, guys. I might just start hopping on here on the 1-second time frame like we did last night. Man, that was fun. I did have fun doing that, guys. I did have fun doing that. Might be actually educational, too. Because if you guys were watching last night, like, you know, you can still look for structure here on the 1-second time frame. It just fluctuates very, very, very quickly. Shout out to Satoshi, said, Frank, you know, all of my money in crypto is so I could come here to find out if I can buy more guns or not. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. Let's go. Let's go, my friend. I am quite a advocate myself. Let's go. 100 more likes. We get some hats tomorrow. Shout out to Wolf of Crypto. We got 550. We will give, we'll give away 3 Frankie Candles hats if we can get to 550. Let's do it. I think we could do it. Come on, baby. We got to run these likes up, guys. And we got a little bit more excitement coming into the markets. I think we can start running it up a little bit more often. Let's take a look at Aster. Let's see. Aster. I think we do have an Aster chart. Oh, it's going to be over here. It's definitely not going to be the 1 second chart. There it is. All right, so Aster. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at this. I don't look at this every day, but we did look at this recently. Look at that 786 bounce on the value area low. We mark these levels. Guys, I'm not going to lie. You watch these live streams, and you just take the information. You don't even need, if you have some kind of an idea of what you're looking for to enter a trade, even if you don't know the confirmations, right? Confirmations are key, because if you don't get confirmations at a level, you're not going to take a you don't want to take the trade, in my opinion. That's the way I trade. I'm like a reactionary-based trader. But what do we look for here? Break back into the range, can't get out, right? At that point, going to the POC and then losing the POC and filling this range in full is the highest probability. You don't want to get caught up, oh my God, but it's bouncing, what the heck? It's like you have to have that overall thought process of like, what is the more important level to look at? Now, it's not that you couldn't scout this move, but here we are. Just like, why do I look at this as a key level? It's not just random support and resistance levels. It's your value area low of the range, letting me know if we come down here, price is now becoming a little bit undervalued, which is where you want to look for longs. Also, it's the 786 Fibonacci retracement, which not proven yet, but could be an area to look for a high, a low, or I'm sorry, a low, a high, a higher low, and a potential higher high, right? Not only agreeing with the full fill of the range, but also potentially looking to crack structure to the upside. Now, money flow, you want this money flow on the higher time frames, which we don't have access to on Aster. You do want that to be in agreement as well. You do have the 4-hour money flow crossover, but you're now back within your range, right? It's always going to be better, even if you don't get the full fill of the range. Let's say we rejected from here, guys. You're always going to be better off looking for longs at the lows and shorts at the highs. It just increases the probability of your trade going in the right direction. Even if you don't have confirmations, right? You might just get a little lackluster bounce and then nuke, but the chances of getting some kind of bounce at the lower end of value is a higher probability. But you have the daily MPOC, the 786 value area low. This is why that level was marked out in blue. And at this point, stay inside the range, cook up towards the POC at $1.95, and then into the value area high at about $2.12. Break above the 786. We could send that thing into new all-time highs. I wish I could look at the higher time frame money flow, but we just simply don't have the information and the price history for it. So this is the range that I would be looking at. Value area low at $100.54. POC sitting at $1.96, and your value area high is sitting at $2.10. That's what I would look at. On the plus side, heard that if you hammer the thumbs thing, Frankie might actually show up to your workplace and bring some New Yorkers. Shout out to Iker. Let's go. Mafia might show up. But we're a friendly Mafia, guys, for the most part. Don't cross us. But we'll just show up with a bunch of New Yorkers, and we'll just drag you out of your office and curse out your boss. And then we'll hop you on the charts, and we'll give you a new, much, much better job, which is making money clicking buttons on a computer. Shout out to Nina wants Fartcoin. We actually already did take a look at Fartcoin. So you can scrub back, and you'll see the full analysis on Fartcoin. But here it is, if you want to screenshot these key levels real quick. But we already did go over that, gave the sauce on Fartcoin. Now let's take a look at Turbo Time. Turbo Time. I bet nobody knows where that's at. I bet you nobody knows where that's from. Turbo Time. Hilarious show, guys. Hilarious show. All right, so this is old. We can get rid of this. Again, I will just point this out. This is why I stick to volume profiles. We have not looked at Turbo in a long time. But why do I have this level marked out, right? Well, it's the only golden pocket 786 you can look at. But as I always say, I don't like trading the middle of the range, and it just proves the volume profiles even further. Value 786 POC golden pocket, right? If you're looking for a low, a higher low, and a higher high, this would have to be the zone it comes in at. Sure, you get a bounce off the golden pocket POC. Sure, you get a bounce off the 786. But what happens at the end? You just eventually wind up filling that range in full anyway, right? So this is why anytime we're in the middle of a range, unless I have a very specific reason to look for it, I just rather to see the fulfill of the range, right? Because if you just look at it from a volume profile perspective, you just have to, you bounce a little bit, right? You go below the POC, back above the POC. If you're just patient, more often than not, you will get that fulfill the volume profile. It's the beauty of the magnetic nature of the volume profile, right? It's very magnetic. All three of these levels are magnets. Doesn't mean you can't bounce off the POC and break out, but it has to be a very specific scenario. So you would have gotten chopped up here looking along the golden pocket, looking along the 786, and who knows, you might get chopped up here long in the value area low, but at least you know that there is a high probability that you're going to come up to this POC. And again, I'm not saying long now. You would have to long at the value area low or below. But here we go, right? Full rotation, full rotation, full rotation, full rotation. You are now bouncing from the value area low. I just very simply, the next target to the upside would be 0.0041645. 0.0041645. 4-hour money flow, 12-hour money flow crossing into the green. That is actually not too shabby. Daily money flow coming up as well. This looks nice. If we can get that crossover into the green, you can anticipate the longer-term trend to continue to the upside, stay inside the profile. Maybe we look to get that full fill. But you can see how it can be a little bit turbulent. It's like you just can't get, you don't miss the forest for the trees, right? Oh my God, we're bouncing. Should I long? Should I long? Like, just stay calm. Stay calm, right? And then at least here, you know that you actually have a plan for the trade, right? Hoping for the fulfill of the volume profile, which is obviously very high probability, right? And once you get up to the POC, you can look to take profit, move your stop loss to break even, guaranteed winning trade. If it stops you out, you make money. If it flips the POC and continues up to the value area high as you would expect, well, great. You turn that little single into a double, and then, hey, you could even take partial profits here and hold a portion of the position for a potential grand slam. So, yeah, value area high sitting at 0.00597. POC sitting at 0.00416. Value area low sitting at 0.0034. This is the level you want to remain above. Money flow comes up, stay inside this profile. I would look to fill it in full. All right, at least up to the POC. You got to be careful around there, obviously. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to Raul. Said, Frankie, can you please share the link where you teach about how to find the... I don't know if you're talking about the volume profiles or if you're talking about the naked points of controls. Two different things. There is a POC within the profile, but naked points of controls are slightly different. Both of those videos, both tutorials, honestly, watch them all, right? You'll run into the volume profile and the naked point of control tutorial at some point. Run through the beginner series. There's a volume profile tutorial, maybe two, and then there's a naked point of control tutorial as well. So it's in the beginner series, so it'll kind of help you navigate it. But, Tony, if you could drop that link there, those two links in the chat, I would greatly appreciate you. Nina wants Fartcoin. We already looked at Fartcoin. She must be behind. AVAX. We can take a look at AVAX. Come on, baby. All right, so let's see here. Is this our AVAX chart that we've been looking at? I don't think so. There's our AVAX chart. Okay, so AVAX still, right, in a very similar situation. Let me just get this fib. All right, so still key level of support still remains the same here, guys. 2645 to 2379. Plain and simple. Golden pocket, 786, high volume node, anchored VWAP also coming up here. Massive support. Like, this is what I would prefer to hold. Doesn't mean you can't front run it, but if we did get another drop down here, you could still put in the higher low to continue up through the bigger end of the volume profile. Value area high sits here at about $40.70. But we're kind of just hanging out here on AVAX, right? We already filled the low volume gap that we looked for. Break these highs, get a fast full fill of the range. We called that live on stream. A couple of people took advantage of it. I love when people come and check back. They're like, dude, I took advantage of what you taught me, and I actually made money. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Shout out to JJ. Says, number go up. Number go up, number go down. Number go sideways. Number go up, good. Number go down, also good. Short, good. Long, good. Money, good. But we've now filled that low volume gap. We rejected off the key level of resistance, also given on the live stream. Fast fill of that low volume gap once again, and now we are probably building some volume within that gap, which is nice. But I would still say this is the big. If we get another drop down here, I would say this is the biggest level to hold. Blues, $24. I am looking down probably towards the POC and potentially the value area low. Now, when we look at our money flow, daily money flow kicking back to the upside here, 2-day money flow cooking to the upside as well. This actually looks pretty good, especially with a green dot looking to print here on the 2-day. 3-day money flow in the green as well, right? Indicating that the overall trend will likely continue to the upside, right? Indicated at first on the 2-day money flow crossover. You're below the range. You get in there, right? You get into the volume profile. Money flow is now in the green. You are looking for the trend to continue to the upside. High, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, potentially higher high. But that would still remain true even if you come down to retest these levels, right? So this is not a place where I would personally be interested in a trade on AVAX. I would much rather wait for a pullback into this zone, right? It's not the only long you could have taken, right? You could have also taken a long here on the local golden pocket, which I assume was right here. There it is, right? So, unless I longed here, right, I would have to wait, right? It's not a place where I'm looking to long. I'd rather get another move down. So, yeah, that's what I would look for. As long as we stay above the value area low, which is super far away at 1954, right? You're just within your volume profile. And if I hide these high volume nodes, because I know it gets a little bit confusing, value area low, 1954. POC at $20.95. Value area high at $40.55. That's what I'd be looking at. Let's see if we can fill this range in full. That'd be very nice. All right, let's continue on here. Shout out to Wolf of Crypto said, I took advantage. Even before the stream, I was looking at volume profiles and low volume gaps. Shout out to Wolf of Crypto. That is the goal, baby. That is the goal. Get you on those streams, teach you what I do, right? Because there's a lot of people out there, man, that just want to be told what to do. Buy, sell, buy here, sell here, take profit here, move your stop loss there, right? But it's not helpful, right? I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but it really is not helpful. What I like to do is teach you what I look at, right? Teach you how I do the analysis, how I make these calls, right? That way you can do it yourself on whatever altcoin you're looking at whatever asset you want to trade. These are all these techniques that I use are transferable to other assets, right? Whether it's altcoins, stocks, gold, commodities, or Forex, whatever. You can use these volume profiles, Fibonacci levels on anything. And the faster you learn these skills and perfect them, the faster you will be able to make money. If you're looking for someone to send you signals, guys, it just doesn't work, right? In my opinion, right? If signals groups worked, I would have just joined a signals group when I first started, and I would have never learned TA, and I also would have never made money, right? If it was that easy, everybody would do it. People who look for that are chasing something that does not exist. And the sad reality of the matter is most people won't care what the truth is, right? They just want to believe that it's not too good to be true. They want to believe that it's easy to make a lot of money. They want to believe that it's easy to just start making $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day, $2,000 a day, whatever it is, right? They just want to believe that it's easy because it makes them feel good. It's an emotion that they're looking for. It's that dopamine hit, right? I am here to tell you that you can make tons of money trading, obviously, but you have to be willing to put in the work, and you have to be willing to take it into your own hands. I could give you the perfect setup. And I take the trade and you take the trade, and one person could lose money and I can make money. And we take the same setup, right? I could join a signals group with another trader, me and trader B, enter into a signals group, and if I know how to trade and manage if I know how to manage my psychology, manage trades, and if I know what I know now, right, I could take that trade and make money, and trader B can take that trade and lose his money, right? Because no one can force your hand to take profit. No one can force you to have emotional discipline. Nobody can force you to follow your rules. I could give you the rules. I could give you the system. I could show you what I do, right? And I'm not a perfect trader either, right? I don't claim to be the best trader. I don't claim to be a perfect trader that doesn't make mistakes. As a matter of fact, I love sharing my mistakes with you because I know that's what's actually going to help move people forward. I don't care about having this image of being a perfect trader, right? Because it's just unrealistic. It doesn't mean you can't be a good trader, right? But a perfect trader doesn't exist. That's why I show you things like the long that I'm in right now, and I don't just sit up here and brag about the long, right? I tell you why it's actually a bad trade, even though I'm up like $8,000, right? It's like still not a great trade because if I follow that rule, right, just messing up and not setting a stop loss consistently, guess what? I'm going to get wrecked. And if you're learning from somebody and they're telling you that that's okay, they're just setting their people up for failure, and I just don't want to do that. I get off on people telling me that they have found success or made money based off what we teach. So yeah. Brick by brick first, absolutely. I don't know why people think that, like, trust me, guys. Like, there was a time where if I made $50 on a trade in a day, and I'm sure a lot of you guys in this chat are at that point, right? Is that life-changing money? Absolutely not. But does that mean that if you can consistently make $50 on trades, right? Not win every single trade, but if you're making $50 on a trade and then like losing a few dollars on each loss, and you're building an account up slowly, those are the same skills it takes to make. If you make 5% on a $100 account, which is $5, you have to be okay, right? If you put $100 in an account and you're looking to flip that into 10K, first off, it's very, very difficult. Number two, don't focus on that. Focus on if you make $5 on a trade, you just made 5% on your account. That's the same thing as making 5% on a $100,000 account. The only difference, the same trade, same risk management, the only difference is the zeros, right? So instead of, if you can get used to making $5 a day, right, on a $100 account, right, or even $2 a day on a $100 account, right, you could just scale up the capital later, right? And then it's not like it's a harder trade to make more money. It's the same thing. But if you can't be happy getting consistent small gains over time on a small account, you're not going to be able to do it on a big account, right? But the flip side of that is if you can do that, right, if you have a $100 account and you're making $2 a day, that's not going to change your life, right? Let's be honest. But that doesn't matter. You're building the skills that you need. If you could prove to yourself that you can do that consistently, and then you could chase more capital. You could either invest your own capital, you can go get a funded account, something like that, and then just like that, now you're making $200 a day or $2,000 a day. Right? It's not going to be every day. You're going to lose. You're going to have a week where you have a losing streak, a month where you have a losing streak. It's not all butterflies and rainbows, right? But people just don't want to hear that. It is a reality. If you actually want to make money trading, you have to accept that it takes time. Hopefully not as long as me, right? It took me extra long because I'm thick-headed. That's why I'm so passionate about teaching this. No one can be a perfect trader. Everyone can be a responsible trader. Absolutely, right? Is it my fault if this chart looks super bullish and I say, I think it's going up, I'm going to long here, and I'm going to target new all-time highs? It could be the best bullish setup. It could be the TA could all be pointing that way. All the macroeconomics could be good, and then a black swan event happens, and it nukes down to zero, and I lose all my money. Whose fault is it if I lose all my money? Is it my fault that the market dumped? No. Is it my responsibility to protect myself against an unexpected dump? Absolutely. It being your fault and your responsibility are not the same thing, right? It doesn't have to be it might not be your fault, but it's your responsibility, right? So I always try to tell people that because it's important, like especially in trading, you have to have 100% not self-responsibility, but like, what's the word? Somebody give me the word. Not self-awareness. You have to make everything your fault, even if it's not. It's always your responsibility, right? I said it with the long position that I'm in, right? And I just go ahead and say, I'm just going to go ahead and say this was my fault. I don't even care. Let's just pretend, which I don't think was the case. Let's just pretend that an exchange took my stop loss off. It was a glitch, whatever it was. Doesn't even matter, right? But let's say it was the exchange's fault. Still my responsibility, right? Now, I don't think that's what happened here, but very likely it was my fault. But let's just say it was. It wasn't, right? Like, sure, not my fault, but also my responsibility to make sure that I have my trades managed, right? I should have checked up, right? I should have double-checked the stop loss. Maybe I shouldn't have been trading while I was doing 100 other things, which is very hard to do in my position right now. Usually I'm like filming a video. I'm like, oh, I got to set my stop loss here. I'm watching the chart. I have the order flow up. I'm filming a video. I'm like, I have a million things going on. Like, maybe that's something I need to work on. But it doesn't matter even if you can guarantee it was the exchange's fault. It's still my responsibility. You have to have that accountability. Thank you. Self-accountability. Self-accountability. You have to have self-accountability even when things are not your fault. Because like if you blame other people, right, or other things, and this is just, I'm not claiming that like, I have all this experience in life. I'm only 33. I mean, I've been here for a bit. In life, right? Like if you go around blaming other people, you take all control away from yourself. If I can't do this because this happened, or I can't do this because this guy, or this person did this, so now I can't do that. Well, guess what? You just gave all the exterior things you don't have control over. You let those things control you, right? If you just have full self-accountability, right, you keep control over everything, right? So I almost find like a weird level of comfort in self-accountability. And like, yeah, sometimes I'm hard on myself. I know Tony D is probably going to put a chat in here. He's like, oh my God, this guy's overdose on self-accountability. But it is true. It like gives me a sense of comfort because it's like whatever. If someone screws me over, it's like my fault. This won't happen again. And if it does happen again, I'll have to make more changes, right? Like, because I put it in, I'm just be like, I got screwed over, so I'm just not going to do this anymore. It's like, well, I just let that bad experience control my outcomes, right? Like, why not just put it all in my control? It's very important, and it's like directly correlated to trading. So yeah. Rocky's speech to his son. Yeah, shout out to Rudy. I said yesterday, when I talk like this, guys, I'm like talking to my old self. Listen, I've been a victim before, and guess where it got me? Nowhere. I was broke. I had no success in any way, shape, or form. I was struggling, right? And it wasn't until I was like, you know what? No one's coming to save me, bro. No one's coming to save me. I got to save myself. And it's like, you could catch bad luck. Not everyone, some people are not as lucky as others. But still, I would still argue that it's a better stance to take that it's my fault. And listen, I've been very blessed in life to not really have to deal with any like super, super tragic things. Thank God. But it's just always like, I would just still, I know some people who were born, lost both their parents at a young age, like super tragic things that are 100% not their fault. But I would still just argue, and it might be harder to have this mindset when you truly have a ton of things against you, but if you could fight through and have that mindset, it's just still a better place to operate from, right? It's like, I don't care if this happened. I'm going to change it. I'm responsible for myself. I'm in control of my own future, right? So yeah, anyway, let's continue on. I've been ranting yesterday and today. I think it's important, though, because I genuinely want to help people, and a lot of people just want to be told what to do. And it's like, even if you look at someone to tell you what to do and they tell you what to do, it does not guarantee success. You have to go out there and make mistakes. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to get wrecked, right? Sometimes you got to get wrecked. Sometimes you got to enter that trade, forget your stop loss, and get wrecked before you start double checking your trades, right? But anyway. Oh, yeah, let's take a look at DOT. Shout out to DJ Max said, bro, what you said last night hit hard. Dropping mad truth, Frankie. I'm stopping. Yeah, shout out to DJ Mac. Take control. Take control of your life. Yeah, stay blessed and stay grateful. That's something I have to work on too, just staying grateful, because sometimes it's like you get really stressed out and you really have to take a step back and be like, what do you really have? Like, I personally don't have a lot to complain about. I really don't have anything to complain about. I'm very lucky. Everybody's healthy that I love. It's a great thing. That's the most important thing, right? It's more important over everything. So yeah, gratefulness definitely a challenge for me when I'm stressed out. Okay, so let's take a look at. All right, so we took a look at AVAX. Let's take a quick look at DOT. Come on, DOT. Is she still in the value area low? Oh yeah, she's chilling down here. All right. Yeah, to be honest, like ever since July, right? Like there's just not a ton to update here. You're holding the golden pocket, 786 zone, right? So like, I guess technically you already took out this high, right? So you have the fib pulled from the low to the high. Look for a higher low and a potential higher high. Technically you wicked above it. I mean, your key level here, this is a simple chart. Just look at it from a volume profile perspective. What typically happens? You go below the low, you get in, you fill it. You get above, you get back in, you fill it. You get below, you get back in, you fill it. You get back below, you get in, you fill it, right? You get back in, fake out to the downside, and we're just kind of playing around here. Just from a simple perspective, guys, stay above this 786, which sits at 336 on Polkadot. I mean, first off, stay above the value area low. Could potentially start cooking to the upside. Stay above the 786. You might even be able to kind of bing bong around here a little bit more, right? You got to have patience, right? What the heck? Mouse glitched. You could even maybe bing bong down here for the 786 test before coming back up, but it wouldn't really be key levels to watch. Lose the 786 at 336. I am looking down here, right? In the twos, right? 285 to about 261. The nice thing here is you do have the 2-day money flow looking to cross over into the green. You do have the 3-day money flow crossing into the green. 4-day money flow attempting to come up. 5-day money flow looks nasty. 6-day money flow looks good. Weekly money flow also looks good. I would just say from a long-term perspective, this does not mean that if you pull back 5% tomorrow, that it's all invalidated, right? This is a long-term outlook. This weekly money flow crosses over into the green. I will look to come up through the rest of this profile. PLC, value area high. Again, long-term move. Right? Last time we got this, it wound up taking 49 days to get to the value area high. Just to give set expectations if you do fill the profile. This is not just instant Lambo candle to the upside. So that's what I would look at. But yeah, weekly money flow headed in the right direction, right? I mean, if we're looking to get accepted into this range for a big continuation to the upside, this is headed in the right direction. 6-day is headed in the right direction. Sure, the 5-day looks kind of nasty, but then the 4-day looks good, the 3-day looks good, the 2-day looks good, and your daily is kicking up as well. So stay above the value area low, stay within the profile, cook up through the profile. Lose it, you'll want to hold the 786. If you lose that 786, that's where I'm looking for a new low. But you're still pretty far away from that, right? You're 22% away from that 786 right now. So that's what I would look for. Yo, let's go. Shout out to Golden. Gifting the 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Golden is live in the Frankie Candles YouTube channel chat. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. 50 for the Mafia. Look at that. We got a whole lot of new members in here now. Let's go. He said, I guess I'll have to drop memberships somewhere else then. Shout out to Golden. I did just saw that. Shout out to Golden. Let's go. Drop those golden emojis in the chat. Come on, baby. Flood those golden emoji, guys. You already flooded the turtles. I want to see the golden emojis go even harder. Shout out to Golden, bro. We appreciate you endlessly. And I'm just going to say it, guys. Golden sent us a video. He said, no, I'm on a jet flying home from D.C. Shout out to Golden. He sent us a video of him on a private jet. And I don't know how he did it. He had some kind of like projector. He turned his entire private jet into an absolute rave. It was the sickest thing ever. Shout out to Golden. And Golden said he likes EDM, bro. I love EDM. Golden. We should go see a show or something. That would be lit. But I guess you just have shows in your private jet. Shout out to Golden. Absolutely crazy, guys. Golden, the man, the myth, the legend. Start those golden emojis. Come on, spam these things, guys. These memberships ain't cheap. Shout out to Golden. I'll spam my own golden emojis. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to B&E channel. Says, I bet we've gotten one over the years and we don't know how to access it. Shout out to B&E channel. If you're talking about the memberships, guys, you got to turn on your YouTube settings. You got to go to your YouTube settings and turn on allow gifted memberships. Otherwise, you won't be able to get them. CandleMafia EDM meetup. I'm down. We'll just like rent out a club and hire, I don't know, we'll hire an artist. Jet capacity. Shout out to Erica. I mean, Golden's jet capacity seems to be like 50 people. I used to want a golden AK. Shout out to Satoshi. Let's go. EDC Vegas 2026. Shout out to Dave Digital. How long have we been going here, guys? We have been cooking for quite some time. EDC. I've never been to a festival. Did you just ask Golden on a date? Come on, Golden. Come on. Go to an EDM festival with me. I've never been. Adding hats tomorrow. Shout out to Tony D. I guess we hit that like goal. Let's get it. 3 Frankie Candles hats to Friday's giveaway or tomorrow's giveaway. Let's go. Shout out to Iker. Said, can't really enable to receive gifts on this thing. Seriously, it's sort of like sorcery if you manage to turn it on. Yeah, it seems to be evasive. EDC is the best in my home state. Shout out to Crypto Night. That'd be sick. Franklin Candle. Shout out to Jake from Reddit. Jake from Reddit. Not to be confused with Jake from State Farm, guys. All right, so what do we got? We got ADA. We took a look at Doge. We took a look at Turbo. We took a look at Aster. We took a look at H-Bar. We took a look at DOT. We took a look at... We did not take a look at Syrup. Again, this is one of the... Okay, yeah, we do have a Syrup chart. All right, so on Syrup, let's take a look here. What's Bitcoin doing? 121.98. I mean, I would still... Could probably mark out a new volume profile here now. Let me redraw these profiles real quick because we have had price move a bit. That weekly's tapped. This daily MPOC is tapped. This anchored VWAP. Might have been an accidental anchored VWAP there. All right, so let me pull this real quick. Got your value very high at 53 cents. That's daily MPOC. Value area high. Got your value area low. I'm sorry, your POC. Oh, God, guys. Becoming that time. Just not making sense anymore. And you got your value area low. So these are the levels I would look at. Come on. There we go. Still got key support down here. Daily, weekly, and daily MPOC. This sits between 35 and 33 cents. This is the big level to hold this support if you get another deviation below. I would honestly, if you get another drop out of this profile, I would love a daily bullish divergence here. That would be beautiful for a bigger move to the upside to fill the range. I'm not saying you can't do it from here, but this would just look really clean, just as I look at price action. Maybe something like this, potentially. All right, even if you cook up here and then lose the range again, maybe you'll get a daily MPOs, daily bullish divergence. Kind of hard to call the exact move there, but as long as you stay above this value area low, I would say, right, doorway to the POC at 45 cents is open. So, yeah, you are attempting to get accepted back in here. Let's check the 4-hour money flow real quick. 4-hour money flow looks good. So, yeah, I mean, you are getting accepted into the profile. You do have bullish divergences down below on the 4-hour, which is nice, right? Like, typically when I see 4-hour bull divs, lower lows, higher lows, right? When you get those bullish divergences with money flow coming up, it does oftentimes indicate somewhat of a significant bottom. So if you do pull back, you're hoping to hold on top of this value area low, and then that would keep, if you can hold it, the POC as the next target at about 45.09. Flip the POC. Obviously, you're going to be looking up towards the value area high. You got a 4-hour red dot and then an instant 4-hour green dot, which is now confirmed. Let's check the 8-hour real quick. And the one thing I think to look at for bigger corrections down is going to be the 8-hour red dot. Not only on altcoins, but also on Bitcoin. You can see the VWAP on the 8-hour is looking to cool off here potentially. It'd be another thing to look at for a little bit of a cool off. But, yeah, look at that 2-hour money flow, man. That 2-hour money flow is sick. 2-hour bearish divergence now printing as well. 4-hour red dot still printing. Let's check that 15-minute money flow. So, yeah, 4-hour red dot with the 15-minute money flow crossover into the red could give you the continuation down. I would also, on top of that, watch the 8-hour red dot with the 30-minute money flow crossover, which is trying to come down as of right now. But any pullbacks until now, up until... Pull up the key levels here real quick. There we are. All right, okay, there we go. Trying to push towards that golden pocket 786. I would say lose this 786. Where's that golden pocket come up? Yeah, I mean, this is a significant swing. I would say, I mean, this is hyper local, but with the 4-hour red dot printing, I wouldn't expect the higher low here personally, right? Maybe get a little bounce, but I wouldn't necessarily expect that to be the low. Could be wrong about that. The bigger level, really, from this swing to the high, what is this? 119,505. I would expect losing this fib, right? Both basically the same levels we looked at before. We had the local level and then the bigger level. But once you start losing this, and let me pull up the upper range as well. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I would be looking down towards the POC. So lose 119,500 about, right? Between 119,505 to 119,68. If you lose this level, that's where I'm looking down towards the POC. If you lose the POC, then maybe we can get the bigger drop. But I would just be careful because we are playing around with this value area high. If we get the short-term pullback, this would be the first significant level I would look at. Lose that POC next at 118.2. Once you lose that, I am going to be looking down towards some lower levels on Bitcoin, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? I don't know if you're going to get the bigger pullback here, just start pulling back, or if you're going to start to create a little bit of a range, right? That would be nice. This is kind of my favorite thing because if you could form a little bit of a range up here, it gives you some context to actually look for the trades, you know, aka shorts at the highs or longs at the lows if you really wanted. But we'll see. 4-hour red dot, 15-minute money flow crossover, meaning if that 15-minute money flow crosses, or when and if that 15-minute money flow crosses into the red, that is where you look for the continuation or the real move down to start. We've shown this many a times in the past. Like, I'll sign off. I'll say, watch that 15-minute money flow crossover. Watch that 30-minute money flow crossover if we have the 1/16 setups. And then we come back and we mark it out and we say, look at that. It crosses over and you get the bigger drop down. So that'd be the first thing I would look at. And then if you do continue down off that 15-minute money flow crossover, then you could potentially look for that 30-minute money flow crossover to follow suit, which will be, you know, whenever this crosses over. I don't know exactly when it will happen, right? But if that crosses over, right, chances are the 15-minute already started your move down. maybe you're getting a bounce, but if that 30-minute and 8-hour red dot are printing, or 30-minute money flow crossover with the 8-hour red dot are printing, maybe you get the continuation of the lower high, lower low structure. But I would still say 4-hour money flow looks pretty clean. Let me actually put an alert here. So yeah, we will see what happens, guys. We will see what happens. What did I miss? Shout out to Crypto Night. Nothing much. You missed a whole lot of turtles. Yo, shout out to Golden. Said, next time I do a rave on a jet, I'll invite you. Shout out to Golden. That would be lit. Golden, we'll have to take your word for it. I'm looking to maybe do something fun. Maybe live stream from the jet. That would be hilarious. That would be like such a weird full circle thing. Like, you always show us videos of the jet. You're always in chat. You're always blessing the Mafia. You're always blessing us here on the channel. It would be wild one day to finally be on that jet with you. Can you look at Doge? Shout out to K-Dub. We actually already did take a look at Doge. If you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, it was actually, I think, the third coin that we looked at. But yeah, you even got bearish divergences on Dogecoin. Again, this doesn't like change my overall thought process based off the 4-hour money flow, right? But local pullbacks could be starting here. For 2 reasons, mostly on Bitcoin, right? Because everything's pretty much going to follow Bitcoin. We tapped into the 786. We talked about how key this level was for not even yesterday or the day before, like plenty of times before, right? We're hitting the resistance. We do have some of the bearish divergences, and even just this 4-hour red dot with the 15-minute money flow crossover could indicate you're looking for some kind of a cool off here. Am I expecting it to be an instant meltdown? Not really. I am going to be very careful of higher lows and higher highs. If I do take any shorts up here, guys, I will be setting my stop loss pretty tight and moving it along the way while I take profit. But again, only thing I can look for here is shorts. But overall, longer term, right, does look good that we could make higher lows and higher highs. That'll be my anticipation until proven otherwise. Until this money flow starts to flip back around, that will be my bias. Golden reveal coming soon. Shout out to Nick Dunn. I don't know if he'll do a golden reveal. We'll have to get him a mask or something if he doesn't want to reveal his identity, which I totally respect. I get it. I love your overall thought process. Shout out to Pearls. What is going on, Pearls? Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Always happy to have you in here. I miss you, brother. I miss you. But yeah, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's live stream for the most part. I think we covered most of the altcoins. I don't think we missed any altcoins. Did we miss anything? MYX. We could try to take a look at MYX really quick. We do have an MYX chart, actually. Oh, my God. This thing is wild. Yo, the swings on this thing is weird. All right. Well, nothing goes up in a straight line forever, that's for sure. Not that it's really doing anything too crazy. I mean, this dump is crazy, this dump is crazy, this dump is crazy, right? But you're pretty much just still within your profile here, which I would update at this point, right? So this was pulled all the way back here because that was all the price action that we had. And you can still see, deviate from the low, back to the high. Deviate the low, back to the high. Deviate the low, get back in, almost to the high, right? But you would have to update this profile because you are already still can update this in a pretty big way. Get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Okay, so you got your value area high. Here's your low. You just clean this up a bit. All right, so yeah, I mean, this level has been here for quite some time, right? This is like the huge golden pocket retracement. We front ran it. It's still sitting down there. I mean, only other level that I can really pull here is going to be your... Yeah, if you lose this 786, this would still be the bigger level that I would look at. Could look at this as some kind of a local range. So... I mean, this is kind of a weird chart, if I'm being totally honest. If you can't get back out of this volume profile and you start losing this range, I'm looking down towards about 769 to about 712. Plain and simple. Maybe you respect this range. It's going to be kind of difficult to call. Obviously, like the price action here is kind of wonky. Like even these moves are just very strange. It's just like back down. Very strange. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to bring up local levels, I would say watch this value area low at about 896. Maybe you could look to trade that as a local range. I would not be personally interested in that. But if you lose this, I would look down towards the bigger level on the golden pocket, 768 down to about 711. Other than that, I mean, this chart looks super. This price action's super weird. Super, super weird. I could take a look at the money flow. Yeah, we don't have a ton of information on the higher time frames. At least we're getting some kind of structure here, though. That's nice to see. So, yeah, I mean, once you lose that golden pocket, probably looking down towards the 786 to 471. If you can get, 4-hour money flow looks like it's coming out. 5-hour money flow looks kind of gross. 8-hour money flow coming out. So this will be a little bit different, right? Because this thing has been kind of just doing its own thing, right? As the market, all the other altcoins are either sitting sideways or dumping, right? Like this thing is just mooning 20,000%. So this does look a little bit different than everything else, right? Nothing goes up in a straight line forever, but these would be the big key levels I would look at down below. And if you really had to come and take all of this move out, I mean, that brings you all the way down to the $2 range. I'm not saying you have to anticipate that, but these would be the local levels I would look at. So there you go. Shout out to Golden, said Tony D, if you built it for him, then let's get a second identical setup running on the jet so he feels at home. Yo, shout out to Golden, bro. It's just like I get on the jet and it's just like the studio exactly replicated on the jet. I wouldn't put it past Golden. Let's see. Iker says best dump award hands down or hands off goes to Alpine USD. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Good Lord. Yo, look at this daily candle, bro. 80% daily candle. Good Lord. That is crazy. That is crazy. Let's see. If you build it, he will come. 100%. Shout out to New Earth. Yeah, Iker says the fan tokens keep the good old crypto pump and dump spirit alive. Shout out to Iker. But yeah, guys, we took a lot of altcoins. We actually knocked a lot more off the list than I realized. Took a look at HBAR, Aster, Turbo, Clash, Doge, Dot, ADA, HBAR, Syrup, and everything else we just looked at. So if you just tuned in, scrub back to the beginning of the stream if you want to catch the sauce on all the altcoins or Bitcoin. Shout out to Golden for gifting those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Golden, we absolutely love you. If you ever had a YouTube channel, I would buy you tons of memberships back. Make a YouTube channel, bro. It's just a private jet reviewing YouTube channel. Let's see. Can we do fetch.ai? Yeah, we can take a look at fetch. But obviously, this is essentially just going to be the same thing as everything else, right? Obviously, the levels are a little bit different, but if I come to the 4-hour, I'd be willing to bet my life that the 4-hour money flow crossover is either looking to cross into the green or has already crossed over into the green. If that is not the case, I'll give somebody $100 tomorrow on the giveaway. I guess we should have put more parameters on this. Well, it is looking to cross over into the green. But I'll give you guys more opportunities to win some more money tomorrow. We're already giving away 3 Frankie Candles hats. Where are we at as far as likes go? 632 likes. If we get 750 likes before the end of the stream, I'll just give the $100 away anyway. Oh, Pengu. Yeah, I did say we would take a look at Pengu. But obviously, market cipher B-wise, this looks exactly the same as everything else. Yeah, you're back in your volume profile. This is kind of like, let me hide these bigger levels. I'm just going to give you local levels here on fetch. Quick and dirty. Whoops. I mean, I would take this as well. It's not the cleanest profile, but you can see this POC is exactly what you're holding. This is very serious, guys. I think it's the longest I've ever been silent on the live stream. All right, so your key level here. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted right there, baby. Come on, do what your boy Frankie Candles wants you to. All right, there we go. 786 value area low. This is going to be kind of the big level to look at. I know there's a few different levels here, or a few different ranges. Value area number 1 sitting up here. Value area number 2 sitting down here. For those of you who don't know, value area number 1, value area number 2. We are now, I would argue, accepted into this range, right? You could not get back out. You get rejected back in. POC is next. Tapped it to the dollar. If you continue down, this is not only the value area low of the range, but also the 786 of this entire move up. So if you're looking, if we get another drop down, this is the key level to look at. Lose the POC, tap into the 786, value area low. This would be the next place where I would be looking for this to hold. If this does not hold, in my opinion, right, this would be much more bearish, right? I would look, if you lose this and cannot reclaim, I would be looking for a crack of structure to the downside here on fetch below 34 cents, right? But that's the if this, then that, right? You could, and again, money flow looking almost exactly the same as everything else. 2-day, you did get the 2-day bullish divergence printing here into the POC. Money flow trying to come back up. Daily money flow trying to come back up. 4-hour money flow trying to come up. So, yeah, I mean, if this is not the low, I would say you must hold that 786. This is a key level. It's not that you can't hold this POC. I'm just saying if you don't, that level you must hold. Because if you don't hold this, I would personally be looking for that break below 34 cents. So that's what I would look at. I would prefer, personally, for me, I would have preferred to take a long down here. But doesn't mean you have to do it. So, yeah, that's what I would look at. And then, I mean, these are just local levels, right? If we zoom out a lot here, you got much other bigger levels to look at. I mean, this is just super chop. But these are the levels I would look at. Value area high sits at 68 cents. POC, which you're bouncing off right now, 52 cents. Value area low, 786. The biggest key level of support between 48 and 49 cents. You have to hold this to remain bullish, in my opinion, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is, I wouldn't even really pay attention to this range up here until you come up into it, right? Like, just might as well keep things simple. So I would even just grab this, put it in a folder, and hide it for now. Right? You're just within this range. Keep it nice and simple. So there you go. There's Fetch.ai. And Pengu. That was the other one that we missed. Well. Bouncing from this. Let me just make sure this is valid. Yeah. Bouncing off the 786, same thing as everything else, right? So, Golden Pocket's the first place to potentially get the bounce. You kind of got the bounce, but not really anything too significant. Lose that Golden Pocket. Where do you look down to next? Daily MPOC is tapped. Next place to look is the 786 value area low. As we're bouncing off of right now, I would say the next target to the upside for me would be about 0.033. Break above that. This is an old fib. Maybe it wasn't an old fib. It was an old fib. So I would say your next two major targets would be Golden Pocket POC. Actually, you know what? I just take the Golden Pocket off, right? Because money flow is coming up, so I wouldn't really be looking at that for a lower high. So I would just say your next target is the POC at about 0.0332, and then your value area high at about 0.0387. Stay above the value area low at 0.025. Doorway to the POC and the value area high are open. You're just within this volume profile. Whoops. Just within the volume profile. So there you go. That's what I would look at. Yeah, other than that, probably looks the same as everything else. Yeah, 4-hour money flow looking to come into the green. I like the money flow coming up on a lot of these altcoin 4 hours. Not too bad. On top of that, a lot of the 3 days are, I mean, this one's been in the green, but a lot of these 3-day money flows on a lot of altcoins are starting to cross over into the green. Even here on Beam, here's your 786 Fibonacci retracement. We get above this, you might be able to cook up towards about 0.0142 to the macro value area high. Also, potentially, right, I'll fast move down. Maybe not the lowest volume gap, but might be a little bit of a void there. Was I too quick for trading view there? There we go. Yeah, you got a little bit of a void in volume there. So, yeah, Beam, I think we looked at this the other day. You have your golden pocket 786, rejection, rejection, rejection. If you could break above this, that's the level to break in order to crack these highs. Once you crack these highs, I would potentially be looking for a move into that value area low, which is then obviously the bigger doorway to much more exciting moves up. But until then, you're just kind of within this range. Looks a little bit inverted head and shoulders-y. Oh, my God, it's an inverted head and shoulders. It's going to $1 bazillion. I mean, funny enough, if you were actually to draw that, right? I know when I use patterns, I like to use them for technical targets. They don't always hit right away, and they're not always perfect inverse head and shoulders, right? You kind of got two shoulders here. I just look at this. This is really just a way to describe price action, obviously. So I don't really look at too many significant rules there, but, I mean, where's your neckline there? Maybe something like this, give or take. Be from the neckline to the tip of the head. That brings you right up in there into the value area low. It wouldn't be the worst target to look at. But again, even without looking at that pattern, right, it's already kind of the anticipation based off the volume, right? Crack these highs, got a little bit of a fall off in volume, and the 786, which would be your doorway to break structure and continue up towards your next target, which would already be that value area low. So that's what I would look at on Beam. Little honorable mention there, guys. Let's see. Shout out to Mountain Magnet, said, I finally made it home. I'll have to run it back. Just grateful to be here. Shout out to Mountain Magnet. Grateful to have you here, brother. Shout out to Panda the Prophet, says, good Lord, for the love of God, take screenshots. Take screenshots. Yeah, guys, in the bear market, we will be taking screenshots as payment for the premium Discord. If you don't have any money, if you round trip your bags, if you have your screenshots from the top of the bull market, we'll take them as payments. I'm just kidding. Mr. New Creation said, Beam potential SFP on the daily. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But for me, I mean, it could be like local. I bet, but for me, I would like to, well, hang on. Let's see here. I would like to take out this high. So, I mean, yeah, listen, and not all SFPs are created equal, right? Could you SFP, I mean, I guess this wick and get a correction? Sure. It's not, I wouldn't really be looking at that as the SFP. I mean, I guess you cleared out these relative equal highs. I would really prefer to take that level, though. But even then, it's like with the way money flow looks, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for like a huge reversal, right? But yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe you take out these equal highs, SFP them, and then you can maybe come back down to the bottom of the range. But if you want to get these levels on your chart, you could just screenshot the value area high, POC value area low. But your 4 hour with this money flow, right? Like I would probably be anticipating, even on pullbacks, higher lows and higher highs, just based off that 4 hour money flow. We'll see if it plays out. If not, we'll probably know by tomorrow. Yeah, shout out to DK Inside. Alt still doing Jack. Yeah, I mean, I would probably agree with that. I mean, other than like Solana, I mean, the big boys, right, obviously, which makes sense, right? Remember the overall thesis here, guys. The overall thesis is that Bitcoin is entering the final phase of the bull market. Hopefully. If that is the case, oh my God, I thought that was Bitcoin. I was like, oh my God. If Bitcoin is entering the final phase of the bull market, guys, and we go into new all-time highs, again, right, like I would still stand true or stand on like my alt season loading video. If you go back and watch that video, this is like that video is still relevant, right? Because it's not alt season starts now, right? It is alt season loading where we start to see a lot of the conditions that we need to be met to see an alt season come in. Now, is this going to be a 2017 style alt season? I don't know. But Bitcoin dominance still looking weak. Bitcoin USD still holding above 107K, which keeps the doorway to new all-time highs open. Money flow starting to look good on the 4 hour, right? And then also technically, even though it's a slower cutting cycle, we have the looser monetary policy. We could check in on the RTY, right? RTY starting to creep back up here towards the all-time highs. If this thing gets the breakout, well, great, right? That's probably going to have the altcoin market follow it, potentially Bitcoin as well. We just got to hope that you're not going to get a lower high in here, right? So I would say on the RTY, right, this will be very good on altcoins if you can get above that 786 and get the breakout, right? You don't just want like a wick above and then another correction, right? You want to get up here and get the breakout. That's going to be very good for altcoins in my opinion. And again, like even looking at Ethereum, right, like with the weekly money flow crossover into the green, this is very good for Ethereum long term. Well, that's 4 hour. Well, still good medium term. But you look at the weekly, right? That weekly money flow being in the green is very, very good, guys. And like this came in, right? Like the low came in right on your macro 786 Fibonacci retracement. You know what this reminds me of, guys? This reminds me of the pandemic, where Bitcoin had a nice rally, right? But what happened? We got the black swan to come in, and where do you hold your support? Right on that macro 786. What happens right after that? Massive run. Massive run. Let me just see something here. Yeah, so like this is kind of your doorway to new all-time highs. The golden pocket 786. You run up, you reject it. Massive black swan. Hold the macro 786. Bull run. Bring it on over to Ethereum. Right, I'll even bring it on over to Ethereum on a clean chart. Very similar situation here, right? Just to like show this, I guess I'll pull it up on the weekly, right? From the high to the bear market low. Here's the doorway to higher prices. Again, the same thing over here on Bitcoin. Just reminds me of it, right? All-time high, bear market low. All-time high, bear market low. Doorway to higher prices or all-time highs. Doorway to higher prices or all-time highs. We get rejected. Massive black swan, massive 786 Fibonacci retracement. Full 786 retracement. We rejected this 3 times. Massive, right? We only rejected it once on Bitcoin, right? Rejected it. Massive 786 Fibonacci retracement. Whoops. Like price action-wise, this looks very similar. Even though this is 3 tops. Right? And then you wiggle your way up above that 786, which we are holding as support. And again, money flow is crossing into the green. I don't know. Just my thoughts, guys. Just my thoughts. Actually, let me see something. I don't think this will line up. I think it's just gonna look way different, but let's just see what this looks like. So I'm actually going to have to stretch this out. I don't know. Somewhat similar, right? It's never going to line up perfectly, but like it's very, very similar, right? Just the fact that you get the top to the bottom, right? You bear market low comes in, golden pocket retracement, big old rejection with like a black swan type dump into the macro 786. And then you just kind of get consolidation, boom. Right? 786 retracement, consolidation. I don't know. Just a thought, guys. Either way, weekly money flow crossover into the green looks very good. 3-day money flow looks healthy. I don't know. I still think that it's not over for altcoins, guys. It might take a little longer, but it's just, that's my thought. That's my thought. Hit that like button, fam. Shout out to Trade Made. But guys, here we are at the end of the 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live stream. But we started at 4:45. So we're doing some extra sauce for the Mafia here on this exciting price action. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Bitcoin on the way out, coming in at about $120,554. So we'll see what happens. If you just tuned in, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I show all the local levels and everything. We're currently holding the previous value area high as support. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe Maybe I'll take a short here a little bit later tonight with a nice tight stop loss, but any pullbacks right now are going to be looked at as higher lows and higher highs. I talked about the local levels of support you should be looking at if we do get that pullback, and not only that, but also what you should be looking for to see that bigger pullback come in. So with all that being said, 24-hour stream. Shout out to Bitfrog. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Eugene Sky. Thank you to Wolf of Crypto, or Mr. Turtle, as we like to call him. I like turtles. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to Meet Damien. Shout out to Slim Shift Media. Jake from State Farm. Jake from Reddit, not Jake from State Farm. And Mr. New Creation. Thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button on your way out. If you guys are looking for a place to trade, affiliate links in the description down below if you want to help support the channel. If you appreciate the free content. That's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll.